ABC News with Glenn Lauder. The Northern Territory Chief Minister says they'll look at all the data before deciding whether to extend the 2-week youth curfew in Alice Springs. The town's emerged from its second night of the curfew, which was called in response to extreme violence due to feuding family groups. Anyone under the age of 18 is not allowed in the Alice Springs CBD between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. Eva Lawless says they'll be gathering all the information they can before making a decision.
Accessing some clear data from police around the number of young people, also from Territory families, the number of people they've taken home, what was the situation when they went to those homes, the number of children that they've then provided alternative accommodation to.
Victoria Police are now investigating after former AFL player Eddie Betts shared a video of racist abuse towards children outside his Melbourne home. Here's Kate Ashton.
In a video posted to Betts' social media last night, someone driving past his home can be heard repeatedly shouting racial slurs at children playing basketball in the front yard. The AFL and Victorian Premier Jacinta Allen are among those who've expressed their support for Betts following last night's incident. And Victoria Police now say they're investigating after receiving a report about it. Police are alleging someone drove past the home in Melbourne's inner east after 8:30 last night and yelled racial abuse. They're urging anyone with more information to contact them.
Winemakers in New South Wales say winning back a major share of the Chinese market will take hard work and smart marketing. Heavy tariffs on Australian wine imposed during the COVID pandemic have been lifted from today. Australian wine exports to China were worth $1.1 billion a year before the tariffs were imposed. Mark Bourne from Wine New South Wales says re-establishing trade with China will take time.
Something that took us over a decade to build, those relationships, we have to start again, and we're going to need a whole lot of coordinated programs, support from both the federal and state governments to re-enter China and get those bottles of New South Wales in front of those Chinese wine lovers.
South Korea's new ambassador to Australia has offered his resignation amid a domestic corruption scandal. Lee Jong-sup arrived in Australia earlier this month, only to fly home 10 days later, after it was revealed he hadn't been given permission to leave the country by a powerful anti-corruption watchdog. He's being investigated for allegedly interfering with an investigation into the drowning death of a South Korean Marine during search and rescue operations. Police in New South Wales are urging motorists to drive safely over the Easter long weekend, with 2 deaths already on Sydney roads. A 20-year-old man died in a motorcycle crash in Sydney's east yesterday, while an 80-year-old pedestrian was killed in Sydney's southwest. Police say a high visibility policing presence is continuing on the state's roads. More than 800 drivers have already been caught speeding, and over 100 motorists found driving under the influence of illicit drugs. Overseas, and Israel and the United States will resume talks on a high-level visit to Washington to discuss the planned offensive on the southern Gaza city of Rafah. The talks were cancelled by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu after the US decided not to veto a resolution calling for a ceasefire at the UN Security Council. White House spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre says no date has been finalised for the rescheduled meeting.
We remain hopeful that we can broker a deal to secure the release of hostages and establish a temporary ceasefire, and as well bring into Gaza that all-important humanitarian aid that is needed in Gaza on the ground.
The governor of the US state of Maryland says federal funding will help to start the rebuild of a collapsed bridge in Baltimore. The Biden administration has authorised an initial $90 million to help clear debris from the bridge, which collapsed after being struck by a Singaporean-flagged cargo ship earlier this week. The biggest crane on the country's east coast is being sent to Baltimore to join in with the emergency effort. And the Maryland Governor, Wes Moore, says the United States economy depends on the Port of Baltimore, which is one of the busiest in the country.
The port handles more cars and more farm equipment than any other port in America. And at least 8,000 workers on the docks have jobs that have been directly affected by this collapse. Our economy depends on the Port of Baltimore, and the Port of Baltimore depends on vessel traffic.
That's the latest from ABC News. For more at any time, you can download the ABC Listen app.
G'day, this is Becky Cole inviting you to join me each week for Saturday Night Country. For more than 30 years, we've been playing the best in Australian country music. as well as the overseas artists that you know and love. So whether it's the classic tunes that you grew up with, the best new releases, or the interviews of your favourite acts, you'll find it all on Saturday Night Country. Saturday Night Country. Hear it anytime on the ABC Listen app.
ABC Sport.
We begin this broadcast by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which this match will be played today and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples listening.
The moment of truth has arrived.
If you think you have anything other than a split second in this game right now, you're kidding yourself.
It's all to play for.
Every single bloke has stood up.
They are leaving nothing out there.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere else on earth.
Welcome to ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL Premiership season.
From 55, side-botted, launches, goal! The Crows make eyes on top of the AFL world. They win a spellbinding game of footy. Calling what a practice.
This is ABC Sport.
The umpire holds the footy up.
You want your very best players having the ball in the moments that matter.
Take your moment. This is that moment.
Something's in the air. Listen to the roar.
Feel a different energy. The pressure's certainly gone up.
Feel it on your skin.
Punches the air with the right hand.
Feel the electricity.
That's why we love football.
Brilliant to watch. Stand by. The arms are outstretched as he pumps his chest out.
Fill your lungs, fill your lungs. Are you ready for it?
Wherever you are, do not move.
We're going the full journey.
'Cause here it comes, here it comes.
This is the 2024 AFL Premiership season.
From outside 50, goes bang with everything he's got.
Former bad boy looking to redeem himself with kicks like that.
Something big is coming, something big is coming.
One step nonchalant banana finish. Wow. Charlie Cameron snaps, goal.
Something big is coming.
Hey Siri, play John Denver.
AFL.
From deep in the pocket. Oh, that is amazing.
Fill your lungs. Are you ready for it?
This guy wants it at home on the biggest stage.
And Gordon can finish from 35. Oh, Errol.
It's there.
Superb finish.
What a hanger.
He joins the party.
Whacks through the goal. Oh, what a moment.
Brilliant, wasn't it?
There's nothing this man can't do. Rioli with some magic. The check side finish. He seizes the moment. Stolen. Snapped it over his shoulder. He's kicked an absolute ripper.
Spins around and buries it.
Lightning speed, Bobby Hill. He's Bobby Thrill.
This is just football at its best.
Weaves around an opponent and gets a brilliant goal.
Gathers, snaps. He'll bring the house down. Time to steady and pull the trigger. Right foot drop punt is pure. We're not done yet.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season on radio, Sport Digital, and take us with you on the ABC Listen app. Just look for the AFL button.
Something big is coming, I know.
The first leg of the Good Friday doubleheader. Welcome to Docklands Stadium, the AFL's House of Superheroes, on a day where, as the slogan says, footy takes a backseat, with North Melbourne and Carlton here to raise funds for the Royal Children's Hospital and put a spotlight on the real superheroes, the patients, their families and the staff at the Royal Children's Hospital. This is the 7th edition of the Good Friday Super Clash, North Melbourne versus Carlton. The Blues playing their part for a second straight year. They are 2-0 on the young season. They've become the masters of the close finish, having won their last 6 games, all by under a goal, while North Melbourne fielded their least experienced team in 14 years. Last week, would you believe, against Fremantle, they were in front in that game by 33 points in the second quarter, but couldn't close out. So they are 0-2 up against the Blues, who are 2-0. And this is the real moment of the day unfolding in front of us as the patients from the Royal Children's Hospital, members of their families, as well as the staff from the Royal Children's Hospital, take part in the reverse guard of honour, as it's the players and the umpires that line either side of the banner, as a number of kids doing it tough at the moment and their families burst through the purple banner in front of us, which reads, "Celebrating the real superheroes from the Royal Children's Hospital." Purple is certainly the colour of the day, and there'll be a splash of that right around Docklands Stadium. Welcome to our coverage. This is Good Friday Footy on ABC Sport. My name's Corbin Middlemass. Kelly Underwood is here to call it all with me. It is a special moment, isn't it, Kel, every year?
It is. We're sitting right behind it and just watch the kids break through this banner and My jaw's hurting because I'm smiling so much. Isn't it funny, boys and girls? They said go, and the boys shot through the banner because they wanted to break that first. And one girl with the number 30 on the back, because we had the guard of honour either side, went right up to Charlie Curnow and just waved in his face. All she wanted to do was get close to Charlie. So
awesome.
Wonderful moment. Happy Easter to you. Happy Easter to all our listeners out there. Beautiful weather in Melbourne for this one and this weekend. I hope it is wherever you are listening from. Although I've got a bone to pick with you already, Corby, off the top.
Oh, no.
I hope he forgets the chocolates.
Oh.
And you didn't.
I didn't.
Because you're a gentleman and you brought the chocolates in, and I had one and I've had about 25. And the two sitting behind me, they treat their bodies like temples still. One's 70 and a bit, the other's 40 and a bit.
Well, be careful.
At 70, sorry. And the 70-year-old said, yes, I'll just take one and I'll just save it for when we get off air. I mean, how frustrating is that?
I don't know how anyone does that. How can you have one chocolate?
Just reminds me of my sister. She put them away for 12 months. Mine would be gone in half an hour. So it's how I feel like sitting in the commentary box at the moment. If I'm feeling a bit physically sick by half time, it's your fault.
Yes, I'll take responsibility for that. Corbin Middlemass and Kelly Underwood. It is our Friday night crew, the first leg of a doubleheader, of course, Fremantle and Adelaide to come later. Tim Hodges with us on the boundary as always. The three-time Premiership captain Cameron Ling, and the coaching icon himself, Mick Moldhouse. Lingy, it's nice to see you. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you. Great to be with you and Cal and Mick and Hodgie downstairs and all the team. I love this game. It's not that long ago where there was this huge argument. Oh, Good Friday footy, can't do it, shouldn't do it, all this sort of stuff. I love this celebration. It's a wonderful day. Driving up and being out and about around Geelong, the number of people out, collecting money, all the wonderful things that go on through the morning. We have this terrific game of footy and a celebration of, as you said, the real superheroes, the ones who actually deserve all the accolades. And then we can also tune into the Good Friday appeal afterwards and hopefully see that tally hit a massive amount and go to the right place.
goodfridayappeal.com.au. I must admit I was late to this. I only moved to Victoria in 2019, but this is an institution, Mick, in this part of the world, and perhaps people in other parts of the country don't quite understand that, but the same way there's Telethon in WA, for example, this is Victoria's version of that, all raising vital funds for the Royal Children's Hospital. So the 7th annual Good Friday Super Clash here in front of us today. Nice to see you.
Thanks, Corby. G'day, Kel. Yes, you've really got no discipline at all, Kel. Let me just say that to anyone who's listening who thinks you're disciplined. You haven't.
No willpower whatsoever.
Lingy snuck a couple through. Don't worry about that. He's on the running track now, so he thinks it's okay to have a couple.
I've got a few hidden for half.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. Can I just say to all those kids in the hospitals, all hospitals, and I've got kids and grandchildren, and most of them have been in hospital at some stage, but also to the staff, how fantastic the staff are, and this is a call for you guys, and just to say, well done. May you have a wonderful Easter as well, and hopefully some of the outcomes that we see in hospitals, may they all be all great. So that's not always the case, but I'm ever aware of the doctors and nurses and everyone else that's associated with hospitals. So well done to you. I hope you're listening in if you can. Should be a good game of footy. Looking at big forwards again in the competition. I wrote about it in the West there, Corby. So the forwards are back, and we've got a ruckman, interesting, a North Melbourne ruckman. Actually, he is leading, which is unbelievable, the tackle count at North Melbourne, which I also find. I'll be looking at him today. So for all the supporters today, have a wonderful Easter, but more importantly, have a safe one.
Well spoken. Mick Moldhouse alongside Cameron Ling all afternoon. Corbin Middlemass and Kelly Underwood to call the footy, and Tim Hodges on the boundary. There is no late change. The two tactical subs, Eddie Ford is going to start as the sub for North Melbourne, and it will be Orazio Fantasia in his third game for the Blues, so he's going to start as their tactical sub. Meanwhile, for North Melbourne, they had the exact same 23 that lost to Fremantle here last Saturday afternoon. They were 33 points up. They lost by over 4 goals, so it was a 10-goal swing in the game from halfway through the second quarter. While Carlton have made 3 changes from the team that last played, feels like forever ago, against Richmond in what was round 1 of the competition. They had the bye last week. Caleb Marchbank's back from illness. Jacob Wiedering is a huge inclusion. Their best and fairest winner from last year. And Elijah Hollands joins his little brother Ollie at Carlton, so he's going to make his debut after a 2-match league-imposed suspension, so he's come down from the Gold Coast to play for the Blues today. What are we in for, Lingy and Mick?
Well, Wiedering is a massive in, you're right, and I would assume the matchup is Nick Larkey, who's a wonderful young forward. I get a little worried, Mick, when I look out there and I see a bloke named Harry Mackay and that other guy who's pretty damn good as well in Charlie Curnow.
Wow.
They've loomed pretty large on in last year's Good Friday game. And I look at them and I just think, if Carlton get on top through the middle of the ground and they get some of that fluent play going that they've shown already this season, and Mackay and Curnow can isolate, not be flying for the same ball.
Which they don't.
They're
very good. They're very good at...
You're right. I just see those two kicking a big bag and almost having a field day today. That's my worry. We're hoping for a good game. Harry and Charlie could ruin the good game.
Well, you're spot on, Lingy, and there's only one way, and I always say games are won or lost in the middle, and the only way you can actually stop a bloke a locker from kicking 10 or 12 goals was to make sure that you didn't let the midfield get the football. It's the same applies to these blokes, and we saw it last night. I reckon last night was a clear indication that when Collingwood got on top, all of a sudden all their forwards become dangerous because the mids got on top. And when they weren't on top in that second quarter, their forwards would stand around with nothing to do. And so I'm with you, but I'll say down the other end too. I know Wiedering's coming back, but I love the way Larkey goes about it.
Yeah.
And this is going to be he's virtually a sole key forward down there, so it's going to be interesting to see what sort of work they do. And if I can just say about the tactics today, when you're a side that's certainly not as good as your opposition, then I don't. There is a way of saying, let's get very offensive. No, I think you've got to be really defensive in the middle and deny the football going in there. So I'll be interested to see how Clarkson handles this.
Yeah, and create more contest and a bit of congestion. Now, as pure footy supporters, we probably think.
I was about to say, I don't want to hear that.
No,
I don't want to hear they need to be more defensive.
Please don't make it ugly. Please don't make it low scoring. But yeah, you're right. The job is win the game, or at least give yourself a chance of winning the game.
It is football sensibility, isn't it? The tighter the game is, the more chance you can hang in it, the liver you are longer.
Well, my theory was on this. When I was starting to coach West Coast, I remember saying to those boys who were very offensive at the time, if we allow the ball to go in the front 50 times, there's a fair chance that they're going to have 25 shots on goal. If we allow it to go in 40 times, then that's 20, maybe. Down the other end, okay, we might have denied 5, not 10, but 5, and we go from 40 to 35. The difference will be a lot closer, and you might be able to snag the ones you want to snag. So it's like last night. Collingwood made the most of their shots on goal, and that forced Brisbane into a defensive mode, and then took chances and got done over.
There are massive queues outside. Just getting some some photos on social media, and they have to be 15, 16 deep, waiting to come in outside. So the ground's still filling up. The coin toss is about to take place. Tim Hodges is with us in the front row as always. G'day, Hodgie.
G'day, Corbin. G'day, crew. A young lady, she's 10 years old, Imogen. She's the face of the Good Friday appeal. She's a massive North Melbourne fan. She gets the honour of tossing the coin. She led the Kangaroos out through the banner. She led the Patients through the banner as well. She's having the time of her life. Unfortunately, Patrick Cripps won the toss, so I think he apologised. So the Blues are going to kick to the Coventry, and that's the right of screen if you're at home watching on the telly, listening to us. It's the most magnificent Melbourne March day. I hate the fact that the roof is shut, guys. I think it should be open. It feels like a basketball stadium today. But what it has meant is that it is so much hotter with that roof shut and the sun baking the roof. So it's 28 degrees outside. I think it's much warmer inside. I think it will be a factor as the game goes on. The crowd, as you mentioned, Corbin, it's awesome and it's building, and there are still plenty of people outside. So a full house for the occasion, officially a sellout. North Melbourne expecting 45,000 plus. So, yeah, a wonderful atmosphere and a really young crowd, which is so nice to see. Just repeating those no late changes. The subs for the Kangaroos, Eddie Ford. For the Blues, it's Orazio Fantasia. And we can't say this enough today, goodfridayappeal.com.au if you're able to donate throughout the coverage.
Hodgie is right. It is really humid under the roof. I thought odds on. I would have bet my house that Cameron Ling would be in shorts today.
Yes.
And he's not.
You lost your money.
So maybe it's a sign of things to come, a weird old Good Friday.
Cal's looking for somewhere to live. These two teams have the longest grand final drought in the competition. 25 years and counting. One side perhaps a little closer to their next than the other. It is North Melbourne and Carlton, the annual Good Friday Super Clash on ABC Sport. You're with Kelly Underwood.
And Sherry was hunched over with the helmet on. He beat the Goning in the air, and then as soon as the ball hit the bullseye, they jumped on, including the two number 9s next to each other. The two superstars, Cripps and Davies-Uniacke. So tossed up from the same spot. Bit of a fumble. Hewitt gets a little handball out of there. De Koning off to Sard on the city wing. He lets rip with one of those lethal lefties. Over the head it goes of Curnow. And now the chase is on out wide. Core gets there first. Handballs into Tucker. Defensive 50. Risky, bobbed up for an anxious moment. Powell put his body on the line. Crashing in was Fogarty, and he did well. And it means that spills clear but comes back to Core, and Core can release the kick this time. And over the head of his teammate, who fumbled it almost over the line, was Dersma, and in the end it will be a boundary throw-in.
Just played by Dersma. Really good play.
Was good play. A couple of the matchups, Mick. We've got Toby Pink on Harry Mackay, so giving up 6 or 7 centimetres there. And it looks like Callum Dawson is on Charlie Curnow. It's a big challenge for those two young defenders.
Yeah, too right.
Zach Fisher against his old side for the first time from the boundary throw-in. Sherry knocks it down. Wardlaw hand pass coughs it up to Ollie Hollands. Got a hand pass back into dispute. Hewitt burrows in after it, and we'll have another ball up on that city wing.
That's a total of 11 games experience for those two defenders against two premier key forwards.
You're going to know they're alive this afternoon. No Griffin Logue missing with injury, and of course Ben Mackay found a new home at Essendon over the off-season. De Koning hand pass to Elijah Hollands. His first touch for the Blues. Hand pass to Newman. Sockers it away, but straight to Wardlaw. Gives it in the middle of the ground. The Blues through the Roos through Davies-Uniacke. Hand pass.
A holding call. Corbs down.
Simpkins. It's going a long way downfield, and the jumper has been tugged. I think of Cam Zurhaar. He's going to get the kick from about 20 out, just right of centre.
Yeah, the good fast play from the North Melbourne mids created that.
Yep.
They gave, I think it was Davies-Uniacke, gave the forward handball, just opened up the corridor. They had runners everywhere. And that's what defenders can do sometimes, just a little panic grab by Marchbank. It wasn't there, Mick.
Well, I just reckon he's getting around him. I think those sort of free kicks.
What a start this would be for the Roos. Zurhaar establishes a tone early. Knocks through the opening goal of the day. 2.5 minutes in. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. And it's their biggest home and away game of the year, and North Melbourne kick the opener. Mick Moldhouse and Cameron Ling on ABC Sport.
Well, I really can't understand why the free kick's there. I can understand why the player turned him around, because he was getting position. Had no bearing on him leading or making position. But, okay, the fourth umpire, apparently that's what the fourth umpire's there for, to pick up anything. So he has picked up something that perhaps we wouldn't agree with. But nonetheless, great start by North. Confident start.
And that's the way they've got to play, isn't it? When you can open them up around the middle, go straight through them. Put some pressure on the Carlton defenders.
Did you say, Cameron Ling, Pink was on Mackay? Bruce fans hoping it's not a case of pink eye, an irritation of the eyeball at some point this afternoon. As the Blues look to move it forward after the bounce down in the centre, sliding in and getting low was Lockie Fogarty. He delivers about 45 metres out. Mackay comes out. Pink was in front of him. There is that matchup. Quick hands looking for De Koning in the right forward pocket. Mackay comes in on Pink. Where is it?
Deliberate.
Yeah, so he crashed into him. Just almost like a gentle crash. Knocked Pink to the ground. Pink went for the boundary, and as a result, it's a free kick in the pocket for Harry Mackay.
Clever. Harry Mackay almost fought his way through 2 or 3 people to get to that ball, knowing that it's on his left foot.
It should have been Akers' free kick every other week. He was right next to the football.
It was Scott that panicked on the bottom of that pack and flicked it over. So Scott's the man on the mark. Mackay. This will set the place alight. But it's across the face. It's kept in play. A little scramble right on the goal line, and the Roos make sure it's a rush behind. One straight North. The Blues, they registered their first score of the afternoon with one behind.
McKercher marks the kick out, goes short to Fisher. top of the defensive goal screen. It's a bit of a jeer. Basically fell out of Carlton's team, finds a home elsewhere, and the Blues aren't happy still as the kick goes out to half-back. Dersma spills the mark, spills through to Tucker, who drives the kick down to half-forward. Zerha turns Marchbank inside out, kicks along the ground. He rushed it and tumbles out of play. Missed everything. Boundary throw in right forward pocket.
How many did he have, Lingy?
He had 2 that he absolutely barbecued.
Yep.
Paul Curtis would be the number 1 to turn around and say, come on, you got to be better than that. That was not a good option from Cam Zerha.
Oh, I've just seen the burnt grass.
Oh, wow.
2 of them.
So a boundary throw in. It's right in front of the Roos goal, but there's a whistle off the play, and it's going to be a Carlton free kick, and it's going to McGovern. So Mitch McGovern. He's got it in the back pocket at the northern end of this stadium. Huge crowd in for this one, under the closed roof. Warm conditions. He flicks it to the city wing with a long boot. Almost a juggling mark taken down there, but not in the end by Core. Curnow emerges with it. He kicks inside 50. It's a one-on-one. It'll be an interesting one. Going to ground for the Roos was the youngster in McKercher. Fogarty, though, can't get there and clean it up in time because Scott came in and helped out. And well done by Scott from the Kangaroos to hold it up.
Absolutely.
Brilliant wing play, wasn't it?
Oh,
Get
yeah.
across and help that one.
You need to play a bit of football in the back half, and he did it.
Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Sherry in the defensive 50 wins the hit out, wins the clearance, gets a kick away, but straight to Sard. It's coming back, kicks to full forward. Dawson leaps up, no mark, spills to Pink. North work it out. Power coming off his career best afternoon against the Dockers. Hand pass to Davies Uniacke. His kick trying to hit up Curtis, spills the mark. Ollie Hollins pumps it back inside 50. Curnow trying to hold out Core. No whistle on the play, and in the end, Curnow spills the juggled mark over the boundary.
He gave it a good go, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
He worked hard to get that position and nearly pulled in. That was one like Gary Senior used to do for the Cats. The one-handed
They paid those. They paid the mark of the century. Touched it once.
Over Gary Pert.
Toss back in, just 10 metres out from the Blues goal, and it was Sherry that won it in the air. Sliding in down there was Akers. And now emerging with the footy. Oh, that's Wardlaw. He's caught, gone. Tried to spin out of trouble, and catching him was Chera. He gobbled him up right on the 50.
11-4 tackles, Cal.
Distance is going to trouble him, so instead he pops it up for the pack. Floating across the front was De Koning. Got a push in the back from the Roos. It certainly was. It'll be a free kick going to the Blues. The free kick going to Hewitt.
Yeah, just got him a little high there.
McKercher?
Yeah. It was well played by Hewitt.
He tacked the ball.
He tacked the ball and then just stayed low for that fraction of a second more and drew the free kick.
Yeah, if you can drive your legs in that position low, you're going to attract a bit of attention.
McKercher just playing his third game of AFL footy. The free kick for Hewitt playing his 160th. Not much angle to speak of. Shouldn't be a problem, and it's not. No angle, no problem for George Hewitt. And their first is on the board. They take a 1-point lead after the first couple of minutes here at Docklands under the closed roof. 1-1-7, the Roos, 1 straight 6, Mick Malthouse and Cameron Lee.
The intents there from the Kangaroos around the ball. They're certainly attacking hard. Contest is pretty good, but just that ball living in the Carlton forward 50 for the last 2-3 minutes. Eventually the pressure built up, and clever play by Hewitt, terrific hard play by Hewitt, and then just a little bit of inexperience from McKercher where it got him high. Just goes back. I want to go back to Cam Zerha. When you're the underdog in a young team, you can nail those little moments early. You fill the rest of your team with all this confidence. That little moment from Zerha could have helped so much more.
And it helps the teammanship.
Early lead change. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. De Koning in the middle, palms it down. Here's Cripps, hand pass to Carroll. He coughs it up in the pressure from Lazaro. Centre break now for the Roos. Kicks to Larkey, leaps up, no mark, hits the deck. Here's Curtis, got the Sunday hop, shakes a tackle, runs into more trouble. Caught eventually, surely by Boyd. The umpire says he was legged.
He was legged.
Free kick for North.
Yeah, that's fair. He was legged.
He kept going forward, Curtis. They couldn't bring him down, and in the end, they did illegally. Free kick for Curtis, spitting distance out from the goal line.
Well, that's the thing about just keep driving. Drive your legs. Yeah, he's been done.
Yeah,
he's been done early.
There was one, and then there was a second trip.
He got done by 2 players.
So it's against Wiedering for the second tackle. He got through the first one from Marchbank, and then Boyd's tackle that came third wasn't required. Curtis, the immediate reply, dabs it through. And North Melbourne snatch back the lead. Couple of lead changes early. The Roos 2 straight. Carlton a 1-1. 5-point lead for North Melbourne after 10 minutes. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Corbin Middlemass and Kelly Underwood. Tim Hodges on the boundary. And our experts, the 3-time premiership cat Cameron Ling and the coaching icon Mick Malthouse.
Nice little moment down here in the middle for Charlie Lazaro, Mick.
Yeah.
Another one of those young players, not as high profile as Luke Davies-Uniacke or anyone like that, but just his awareness there to take it cleanly and cut back into the middle through the corridor. Good quality deep entry. That's that young midfield that have to take the ball forward with speed when they get the opportunity.
Yeah, too right. If you can get the ball in your front half, keep it in the front half. That's what. Look, Hewitt got the free kick because he drove with his legs, and it's the same here. Just drive as hard as you can.
Lazaro in the midfield for this one. Sherry in the ruck. Mackay was the opponent and has given away a free, Harry. Sherry wants to give it off to the run of Sheasel. Penetrating kick. It's set up here. Oh, and it slips straight through the hands of Coleman Jones, but it'll be a free. And it will go the way of the Roos.
Nick Larkey, I think.
Yep, Larkey was held in the pack. It allowed Coleman Jones to run over the top. It slipped through his finger, but Marchbank with some illegal holding on Nick Larkey.
What's his second free kick against him on? Oh, that one's a dead set free kick. You can't put your arm in front. No.
He's directly in front.
It's a cuddle.
Third in the Coleman last year with 71. He loves kicking goals on this ground on Good Friday. And he kicks his first. And North skip out to an 11-point lead. It's another razor-sharp start. A bit like last week against those Dockers. 3 straight 18. The Blues 1-1-7. There's a bit of action down on the bench right in front of Tim Hodges.
Kel, the exercise bike has come out very early. Everything's going right for North Melbourne on the scoreboard, but not for George Wardlaw. He limped to the bench. It's a right corky. It's a serious right corky. You can see it bruising already. He's on the spin bike just trying to keep it going around, but he's in all sorts of pain, so it's going to be a difficult afternoon for him.
Yeah, it's not good to get one early, Thingy, a big corky, because you'll sort of wear it for the rest of the day. Interesting what they've done, North. They've cleared the centre square for 2 goals, and that's the secret to it, is get in there and panic the defence, and that's what they've done with Marchbank.
Crooked bounce in the middle. Mackay doing some of the ruck work. Grabs it out of the ruck for Carlton. Hand pass away to Chera. Gives it to Kennedy. He can get the centre clearance for the Blues. Drives it inside forward 50. Curnow trying to clear up the pack. Hits the deck. Durden's out after it. No clean pick-up. Here's Fogarty. Hand pass out wide to Elijah Hollands. Goes to ground. Taps it to brother. Ollie snaps goalward but misses near side. The Hollands lads combining for that score, but just a minor one. Ollie Hollands with the behind. So 1-2 Carlton. North Melbourne are 3 straight. Bruised by 10 points up to 12 minutes.
How many times will the Holland brothers have done that in the backyard and curled the goal? So the boozer for Fisher, who's had a bounce, who's taken it on, who's flirted with running the more than the required distance, but he kicks it at the interchange gates. And they're still going the Roos. Quick hand passes. Simpkin gets it off to James Stevenson, and now a 2-on-2, top of the goal square almost, but it's off hands. Boyd with the releasing kick. It was a quick play. Over the top comes Pink. Great spoil.
Called him for an arm chop though, Cal.
Right.
I reckon the spoil started good and then and got him high too.
Okay.
Yeah, it was there.
So a 50.
And 50.
Yep. Against Pink. And Mackay will be dragged maybe within range here. Because Pink will have to stand right on the 50.
Yeah, well, anything is range from 60 with him, so there's no doubt about that. 2 North Melbourne players spoiled each other in the air. That kick that went in deep, all they needed to do was a bit of communication, and they could be having another shot on goal, but this is the reverse. That's what happens. You pay a penalty.
Boys to be a shootout this afternoon. One sharpshooter, Larkey with the last one. Mackay from inside the centre square. He steps out it from 53 and he's offline. Hangs it out to the right. Just gave it a bit too much curl on it.
What the way Fisher ran that football out before?
Yes.
Get the ball out of your back 50.
Bruce by 9 points. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport as Scott takes some ground from the kick out, goes long up to the wing. Larkey knocks it down. McKercher hangs it inside the boundary line. Hand pass away to Dersma, to Davies-Uniacke, back to McKercher. Tucks it under his arm and just completely blows by Boyd. Kicks up into the front half for North Melbourne. Coleman Jones brings it to ground. Was he taken high? Ump says yes. Advantage applied. Stevens away. He tucks it under his arm. Hicks up Curtis, who marks inside 50. And he's got it 35 out right half forward. And the Roos are getting some early looks here.
Well, they're getting good looks because of the speed.
Yeah.
They're not mucking around with it. Against good sides, don't give them a sighter. You have to put the pressure back on them in their face.
That was impressive from McKercher down the other end, wasn't it?
Oh, how much speed has he got?
He made everyone look slow.
Well, that stopped.
Paul Curtis. What a start this would be. His left footer sails goalward. It misses to the near side. First blemish, 3-1 to 1-3. It's North Melbourne by 10 points after 15 minutes in the opening term. No late change. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. The SMS 0437 774 774. We'll be keen to hear from you. Whatever you're up to this Easter weekend.
Williams to Wiedering. Beautiful pass. Hits up Hewitt. At half back. Just a step or two in from the boundary. Oh, is that Pink?
Yeah, I think
Creeping over the line, or someone ran through, but it's a 50.
No, it's the stand rule, Cal.
Right.
He was called to stand, then he wanted to back off the 5 metres, but he...
Hewitt wants to play on. He's their only goal kicker so far. He kicks it into the right forward pocket. All the big stars are there. No one can take it in the air. Harry Mackay with a huge tackle. And it allowed one of his teammates to run in and finish the opener of the goal. It was Corey Durden with the banana. Mackay tackled the North player. The ball spilled out and Durden pounced with a banana from 10 out on an angle, and it's their second goal. 2-3-15 Carlton, 3-1-19 North. It's North by 4.
I feel bad picking on a bloke in only his third game, but Toby Pink has just got to know the rules.
Oh, yeah. We should know the rules.
Once you're called to stand, whether there's not an argument about whether that rule's a good rule or a bad rule, but once you're called to stand, you can't then, too late, think, oh, no, I'm going to back off the mark. I'm going to stand back 5 metres. It's just a...
Is that his second?
Yeah, Gimme 50 made a penalty. Second 50 against him, I believe.
Yeah.
The other one...
Well, we know the first one was a bit... We didn't know, but certainly that last one was... Let's say it's 2. He's spot on, isn't he? And that's a bit of a panic of, oh, quick, I'm a back line player. I've got to get back into that back 50. No, you've caught out, stay there.
Fast footy under the roof at Docklands as advertised out of the middle. The Roos get it going forward. Zerha got a hand pass to Lazaro, gives it to Power. Dump kick inside 50. Sard got a fist to it, but spills right in front of Simpkin. He's pushed off it by Newman, who's tackled and will have a ball up. 25 out for the North goal. They're kicking to the Lockett end of this opening term. Umpire chucks it up. Coleman Jones grabs it out of the ruck. He's tackled. Dispossess. Still there to be won. Simpkin has Newman on him like a backpack, and in the end, well, thought the umpire was going to blow his whistle. He lets them roll. Now we'll have a ball up. 40 out from the North Melbourne goal.
Corbs, they still haven't put back the Lockett and Coventry signs, have they?
I'm looking
They
at that.
promised that they would.
Yes.
Tossed up inside 50 here for the Roos, but DeConing gets it down to McGovern on the left, clears it to that centre square. Good spoil from behind from Carlton, but Lazaro emerges with it. Shanks the kick, gives it straight to Chera, who's tackled and wonderfully tackled by Carroll.
Maybe one or the other. He's taken 3 or 4.
Well, he's letting
3 or 4
either go,
steps.
hasn't he?
Well, it's either in the back or it's a
Sliding
free kick.
tackle. Coleman Jones beautifully down to Zerha, who burst through 1, who burst through 2. Couldn't get the handball over the top to Dersma. Wardlaw's back out there. He's hemmed in against the boundary line. He beats 1, he beats 2. He handballs closer to goal. They're right up against the goal line, and it's shuffled over. Wiedering putting a little bit of pressure on Dersma.
That was impressive from Zerha.
Just straight at it, didn't he? Oh, it's like a train.
Good to see Wardlaw back out there. He's tough. He is hard as granite.
Wiedering to the back pocket to Sard. Back to McGovern, who continues the shift out towards left half back. Finds Boyd. Short pass out of the defensive 50, and he's always looks to the middle of the ground. Up goes Carroll, no mark, hits the deck, tackled by Lazaro. Now it's out, crowd involved. Pack forms around Cripps. Umpire says ball up. North Melbourne in a specially designed jumper for the Royal Children's Hospital, so predominantly in royal blue, but it does have a bit of purple and green accent to it. The colours of the Royal Children's Hospital and the bounding rue in the middle. From the restart, Cripps fought through the tackle, hand pass to Kennedy, gives it to Fogarty, kicks inside 50, Curno's out the back, grabs it, Pink's got him, ball comes out, goal squared for Carlton, clever work, Scott paddles it to the safety of the boundary line, stays alive momentarily, and Cottrell sees it out of play. And a boundary throw in right forward pocket for the Blues. Carlton today predominantly in white. They do have a bit of navy high up on the chest, and the monogram is in the navy blue.
A bit confusing, the jumpers. It looks like the Western Bulldogs out there for North Melbourne. There's a bit of red there as well, with the sponsors' red splash on the back, and then all in white the Navy Blues. Go figure. They've got it right on the 50. Here's Zach Williams. Just dumps it to the top of the goal square and Toby Pink takes the foot. No, oh no, it's going to Charlie.
Callan Dawson's given away a free kick for the hold behind Toby Pink.
Oh, Pink did well to work his way in front, juggle the mark, but now the Sharon is in the hot hand of one of the hottest players in the AFL, in Charlie Curnow.
There's not a lot in it. He's sort of got Charlie Curnow's arm locked away a little bit, Nick.
He's a superstar. He will never miss from there. Charlie Curnow, top of the goal square. A questionable free kick, but it's money in the bank every day of the week. And it's the Blues by a point. 3-3-21 North Melbourne, 3-2-20 after 20 minutes of play.
I reckon the positioning of the umpires, I reckon it's a free kick.
Free kick, that's fine.
And I reckon the positioning of the umpires then almost says, I've got to pay that, because once he sees that Curnow's arms behind his back being held, he can't get to the contest. Now, it's all great for the teammates to be able to do that, but you've got to put your body... The way to do it is to put your body in line and make Curnow come over the top of you. So I think under those circumstances, I'm not in favour of 4 umpires, but if you're going to have it, that was in a perfect position to see that free kick.
The coaching games record holder Mick Malthouse alongside Cameron Ling, Corbin Middlemass and Kelly Underwood here calling the footy, and Tim Hodges on the boundary. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Third lead change, Carlton by a point, and they're getting a free kick here for a high fend-off in the ruck contest. It's against Sherry. Taconi takes it by hand, gives it to Boyd, who's locked up straight away by Sherry. Says ball up in the middle.
What?
Oh, come on.
Boyd came tearing through and then pulled up as he ran into Sherry, was caught. And he got the rub of the green there. Secondary stoppage to Coney, down to Hewitt. Carlton with it. Hand pass away to Kennedy. Kicks inside 50. Curnow hands around it again. And Toby Pink knows he's in for a day. Charlie Curnow, the 2-time reigning Coleman medalist, will shoot from 50 out.
Well, it's just a good mark. Again, really, it's his experience and his size against a player who's slightly smaller and inexperienced, so just uses his body at the right time, just a little nudge to take the line of the ball. Best thing you can do about talking to players, keep the line of the ball, backline players, keep them off the line of the ball.
In his third game, Toby Pink, 4 years ago, delisted by Sydney, gets a second crack at it, AFL level. And now a match up with Charlie Curnow. His drop punt sails out to the left and stays there. It's behind, so Carlton by 2 points. Robin Greensborough off the SMS. It won't happen, but since Zach has gone from the Blues to the Roos, hoping for a call or two of fish on Crips this Good Friday. From Rob. Thanks, Rob. Also from Adrian in Hampton East, happy Easter. ABC Sport go the Blues. From Fran in Melbourne, hi team, enjoying the call. Happy Pies person, we finally got a win. Going for the Kangas today, of course. Naturally, playing against the Blues.
So the Blues have worked it to half-back where it's a boundary throw-in. Wardlaw, quick hands, Simpkin, retreats to Scott. Scott flares it wide to Larkey in a one-on-one with Wiedering. Too strong. Welcome back, Jacob Wiedering, says Blues fans. And they move it through the corridor quickly. Boyd, great tackle, affects the kick. It's a bouncing one and a tough one to control down there for Owies. Quick little kick away. Top of the goal square. It's rolling and tumbling. Eventually it's picked up by Smith, and he's going to go again here. Bailey Scott. Stripped of it. Wardlaw had it, lost it. The quick hurried kick comes in from Boyd, and now he's a chance all by himself, directly in front on the end of a good passage of play. Adam Chera. It wasn't pretty, but it was effective for the Blues. Bumbling and mumbling their way through the Kangaroos defensively. And the Blues were able to pounce a quick couple of handballs, and then all by himself, Adam Chera, 30 metres out directly in front. As easy as you like, 4-4-28 North Melbourne, 3-2-20.
A pretty simple footy there by the Blues. It was just put pressure on, then outnumber again at the next ground ball. And as soon as they won it back, they had options absolutely everywhere.
So I say, you've got to clear that 50. There are some of the teams now have just worked it out. You cannot muck around within that back 50. Get the ball outside.
Tim Hodges on the boundary. Hodgie.
Corbyn's, people still coming through the turnstiles. I know North Melbourne, I said at the start, they were expecting 45,000 plus. This has to be getting close to 50,000. It's one of the biggest football crowds I can remember here at the Docklands.
Carlton by 8 points at the restart. De Coney knocks it down. Power couldn't grab it clean. Cottrell does. Coming in off the wing. Kicks the Blues in the Curnow direction. He leaps up. Had a fair piece of it. No mark. Hits the deck. Umpire says keep rolling. Owies hand pass to Fogarty. Gives it back to Charlie. Tackled. Affected a kick. Rolls away to McKercher. He's under the pump. Grabs a hot footy. Got it out to Powell. Naroos will work it out. Goes back to McDonald. Kicks out to the half-back flank. De Coney crashes the pack. Ball hits the deck. Here's Newman close to the boundary line, and in the end he sees it out in between his legs, and as a result that's out on the full. That is an unusual way for it to go out, trying to trap the ball between his calves as Curtis kicks down to half forward for the Roos, but it's coming back. Boyd to Chera, looks inboard for the Roos. In fact, it was Williams to Chera, who marks, turns, kicks goalward, wants Mackay, there's a free. Mackay's getting it deep. Mackay will get it 15 out directly in front, and Aidan Core penalised here for the hole.
Oh, that was such a good touch. I just reckon they're just not giving. Really, it's got to be about the contest, doesn't it? Just a bit more about the contest, not Tiggy Touchwood.
Just watching a replay and watching Bailey Scott really sore from as he desperately tried to smother Charlie Curnow. He was unable to get back and help out there on the longer one to Harry Mackay. Aidan Core needed help. Scott wasn't there because of the injury.
Curnow staying out there. Mackay on his way in, knocks another one through. That's 4 in a row, and the Blues are still growing. 26 minutes into the opening term, 5-4-34 Carlton, North Melbourne 3-2-20. 26 minutes travelled in the opening term. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Mick Moldhouse and Cameron Williams.
Now, Lingy, you said before the game, I'd hate to be down there with Mackay and Curnow get an upper of football. And you know what? You're spot on.
It's getting in there.
It's getting ugly.
And to one-on-ones, and that size is really worrying.
Showing up.
How many hours sleep do you think the trio would have had? Core, Pink and Dawson?
Not a hell of a lot.
No. And their worst nightmares.
You know who they'd be talking to, Kel? Their
looking
midfield
real.
saying, keep the thing up there.
So the Blues by 14 points. There's still 4 and a bit minutes to play in this first term. De Coney rises high to Cripps, to Hollins, hurries the kick and into one-on-one, and it's a tough Blues mark by Chera, outmarking Sheasel. Just a bigger player, a couple of years ahead in his development. He pinpoints Mackay, standing start, almost a double grabber. Had a couple of swats at it, and then he tackles Zach Fisher over the boundary.
We saw them last week. They looked overwhelming themselves at one point, North leading 7-2, and then at one stage conceded 9 in a row against Fremantle.
Yeah.
So they've had problems sort of stopping these runs back the other way.
And the problem is we're directly in front of the Blues goal as that De Coney tries to flick it behind him. It's a hurried kick out of there defensively by the Roos, and now it's centre half forward. The Blues pounce. McGovern flares it wide. Great spoil. Well done putting their body on the line is McKercher, but another turnover. It's been picked up and it's going to deliver. Looking for De Coney was there, so too Mackay. Cripps with a handball. And now applying a tackle is Ollie Hollins on the Roos defence. A defence that is definitely under siege at the moment.
His brother Elijah on club debut today. Zach Fisher against his old team. Fantasia and Ford, the 2 subs. From the forward 50 stoppage, Cripps. Hand pass to Elijah Hollins. Shoots goalward. It's touched on the way through as Curnow tried to mark it on the behind line. And a behind. So Carlton by 15 points. 28 minutes into the opening term. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. The first leg of a double header.
I've not seen Curnow and Mackay anywhere near each other. And it's just brilliant the way they work together.
So Fisher to Sheasel to Wardlaw on the kick-ins, and they're still in that D50 Mick.
Yeah, Curnow was in the goal square for that one, and Mackay was 40 metres away. And that's the way, when the ball's in that area like that, don't stand next to each other because you drag your opponent across. So they just work so well together.
Bailey Scott up for disposal, number 6, but he's kicked into the man of the marker. He happened to be Mackay. And now it's a 50-50 ball across half forward for the Blues as Boyd is tackled. They pile on top of him. So it'll be a ball up here with 3 minutes to play before quarter time. It's Carlton by 15.
A match in which the Kangaroos led themselves at one stage by 11 points from the restart. Cripps, was he being held? Said no. Sockers it forward, straight to Sheasel. Pumps it back down the wing, up to halfway. Curtis brings it down. McGovern tackles him. Ball spits out. Powell sweeping hand pass forward for North. Got it to Zerha. Side giving chase. Just gets the kick away inside 50, but affects the kick. And Marchbank takes the intercept mark for Carlton. And goes to Wiedering. First game for the new season, coming back from that badly torn calf, finds McGovern, and he goes long to Cripps in a one-on-one with Pink, and in the end, Pink got a fist in there out of play. Boundary throw in between wing and half forward for the Blues. Carlton by 15 points, half-hour mark opening quarter.
Cam Zerha twice. He's made the wrong option, and it's cost them goals, hasn't it?
Well, it certainly cost them opportunities.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's such a bull, such a beast around goals, but his decision-making going forward with it's not one of his strong suits.
So De Koning straight down the throat of Carroll, hurries the kick away now. High ball, top of the goal square. They all launch. Kennedy waits at the drop, gets the handball off to Cottrell. Here's a chance. Akers snaps and misses. Blues will be desperately hoping that they don't concede a major, the Blues, before quarter time. Carlton now by 16 after the Roos really hopped off to a hot start. They led by 11. It's currently 16 with 2 to play.
Sheasel, the reigning rising star and best and fairest winner, goes long up to the wing. No mark, hits the deck. The Blues win it back. Williams, hand pass away to Carroll, now to Hewitt. On the low goal, that City wing. Short kick, or in between two Blues, not a good one. McKercher says, I'll have it. Attacks the yellow Sharon, kicks it down the wing for the Roos. Finds Coleman Jones. He marks. North in transition where they've looked good today. Hands it to Lazaro. Kicks inside 50. G. McGovern bounces off 2 players. Ball hits the deck. Marchbank first one back. He's helped out of bounds. And a throw in. Half forward for the Roos. Right half forward. It is Carlton by 16 points. 31 gone opening term. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
And a great desperate defence by McGovern. Marchbank was trying to get there as well. The kick just held up on Larkey. If it had been out in front of him a little bit more, he would have marked that one, but well played by the Blues defenders.
Flick back in, right on 50. Here's a chance. This is Wardlaw. He was tackled, so Grubbers the kick. Powell controls it. Scoops it up to Zerha from the 50. Keeps it low. Oh, no. They've run into each other. 2 teammates in Dersma and Coleman Jones, and they spoiled each other. As a result, both were brave. And the Blues, on the last line of defence, have possession. Streaming down the line was Harry Mackay. He's such a presence. You could hear in the background a couple of Blues fans going, give it to Harry, give it to Harry. And that's exactly what they did. And he has marked in front of Toby Pink. He's got it at half back.
He can kick it to Curnow because Curnow's...
Well, he went for Curnow and he was surrounded by Roos. And now McKercher, the high ball, straight back to Harry Mackay.
They got about half a minute to try and make something of this. Carlton off the back flank. Harry Mackay. Everybody looks absolutely spent. Gee, it's fast footy under the roof at Docklands. We haven't had a lot of games here so far in the young season as he kicks it down towards Curnow. No mark. Spills through to Sheasel. Loops a hand pass to Curtis. High fend off perhaps. Says no. Pushes off Fogarty. Hand pass to Sherry. Now to Sheasel. And the Roos just trying to take some of that time off the clock. Hands it back to Davies Uniacke. Long bomb forward. And there's Mackay and Pink, and Mackay wins that battle. Mackay with 3 marks late in the piece.
He wants a shot.
He cheekily points at the sticks as he looks at the umpire as the horn goes to signal the end of that opening term. It is Carlton by 16 points. Big turnaround. North kicked 3 of the first 4, led by 11 points early, and then Carlton kicked the last 4 goals of that opening quarter. Carlton 5-6-36, North Melbourne 3-2-20. The goal kickers, 5 individual goal kickers for Carlton. The 2 keys up front both feature, 1 to Mackay and 1 to Curnow, and then singles to Hewitt, Durden and Chera. Meanwhile for North Melbourne, 1 to Larkey, Curtis and Cam Zerha kicked the first goal of the day. This is Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Corbin Middlemass alongside Kelly Underwood, Tim Hodges on the boundary, Cameron Ling and Mick Moldhouse off the SMS, which is 0437 774 774. Enjoying the call after riding horses, now heading to Barwon Heads from Max, Yo-Yo and Tilly Allen. Nice to hear from you guys. Thanks for tuning in here on ABC Sport. Dennis in Mortdale says, listening from too far away in Melbourne, south of Sydney. But with your broadcast on the ABC, I feel at home again. Well done. Thanks, Dennis. Appreciate that. And from Kate in Northcote, who says, love your work, guys. Up the baggers. Good on you. That's from Katie, in fact, in Northcote. Appreciate your message. 0437 774 774 the SMS. First of 2 games today. Later tonight, it is Fremantle versus Adelaide. We'll take you there following our match, the Good Friday Super Clash under the roof at Docklands. The thoughts of Mick Moldhouse and Cameron Ling coming up next. Carlton by 16 points. This is Good Friday Footy on ABC Sport.
So, what makes us Australian?
Just be whoever you want to be.
And who's the obvious person to ask how that's transforming?
Welcome to Broken Hill, Miriam.
I'm on a quest to learn what it takes to change and adapt.
Occupation. I'm actually an escort.
An influencer.
Miriam Margolyes' Impossibly Australian.
You are changing the world.
Starts Tuesday, April 9 on ABC TV and always free, always entertaining on ABC iView.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Hits it in the middle of the ground through Davies Uniacke. Can't pass.
The holding call, Corbs down.
Simpkins is going a long way downfield. And Zerha is going to get the kick. What a start this would be for the Roos. Zerha establishes a tone early. Kicks to Larky. Leaps up, no mark. Hits the deck. Here's Curtis. Got the Sunday hop. Shakes a tackle. Runs into more trouble. Caught eventually, surely by Boyd. The umpire says he was legged.
He was legged.
Free kick for North. Curtis, the immediate reply. Dabs it through.
Here's Zach Williams, just dumps it to the top of the goal square, and Toby Pink takes it. Good night. Oh no, it's going to Charlie.
Callan Dawson's given away a free kick for the hold behind Toby Pink.
He's a superstar. He will never miss from there. Charlie Curnow, top of the goal square. Money in the bank every day of the week. Wardlaw had it, lost it. The quick hurry kick comes in from Boyd, and now he's a chance all by himself, directly in front on the end of a good passage of play. Adam Chera.
Williams to Chera, who marks, turns, kicks goalward. Wants Mackay, there's a free. Mackay's getting it deep. Mackay on his way in, knocks another one through. That's 4 in a row. And the Blues are still growing.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
The Good Friday Super Clash. This is Good Friday Footy on ABC Sport at quarter time. It is Carlton by 16 points. They've kicked the last 4 goals of the game. Cameron Ling and Mick Moldhouse with us on ABC Sport. Here's what they made of it all.
Mick, if you could draw it up from Carlton's perspective, you come into this game and deep down inside, not that you admit this too much, you probably know you're a better team and you should win the game. You go, if we can get the ball inside forward 50, 15 plus times early on in the game, put their defenders under a heap of pressure. Well, they got it in there 17 times. 17 to 11, I think, with the inside 50s. Let's lay a heap of tackles. Let's put these young players under enormous pressure. The tackle count, 27 to Carlton, 17 to North Melbourne. Yep. Win the contest. They're +4 in contested possessions. They're all those key ones. Really basic type of stuff, but against a younger team who are unsure, maybe lacking confidence, if you can put that enormous pressure on them early on in the game, you know by the end of the game, their confidence will have been completely zapped away.
Totally agree. Lingy, one of the things that you try to do, and you've been part of a side that was successful over a number of years, is have a DNA that's very identifiable. Carlton really, I don't think Carlton have identified that yet. One year in the finals is not enough for me. So you're right. All their thoughts would be we're better. And our DNA is going to be quick ball movement, blah, 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 and we're going to be better at contested football. We're going to tackle more. So if that's going to be part of their MO to identify them, then these games against what we call a weaker opponent, an opponent they should win, it's essential that you don't win it by just being leery and things happen. You've got to win it by that method.
Yep. Yeah, rather than turning it into a game of circle work and you're just going to try
that's
to
right. You don't gain anything from that. So it's different if that would have been, say, a Collingwood or a Melbourne or a Port that have been there for a few years on the top. But Carlton haven't. They've only been there once in the last few years. So you need to identify it. And so they've been very, very industrious today. They've kicked they've 11 times they've scored inside 17 inside 50. That's a very high ratio. And the thing that struck me was the first tackle laid was by Mackay.
Yeah.
A big key forward. He wins his first possession by a tackle. So that to me that's their MO. And you'd like to think if Carlton are going to go on, they've got to do this against sides all day, not just for 4.
How many did Kerno and Mackay end up with?
Oh, I reckon they kick 10 between them.
That's what I think. That's what they did last year. They kicked 10 between them. Kerno got 6 and Mackay 4. They got 1 each in the opening quarter, but, gee, it looks like they could have kicked a whole lot more.
They're hungry.
This is Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Corbin Middlemass and Kelly Underwood calling the footy. Tim Hodges on the boundary. Mick Malthouse and Cameron Ling, your ABC Sport experts. Second term underway. Blues by 16. Sherry out of the middle. Got it away towards Powley. Drives it inside the forward 50, but Marchbank's there for the Blues. Hand pass away to Sard. He gives it to Newman. Pokes a kick out of the defensive arc. Stevens into the pack. Spoils it away. McKercher tackle. And a fall up.
And what we're witnessing from North Melbourne in that first quarter was a really young team. You know, look at the example of Dersma and Coleman Jones when they ran into each other. It's a team that just hasn't played together enough, and that's what they've got to try and do, just keep spending time together.
Kangas to the old Coventry end, which is really the southern end of the stadium. There's a free kick for a hold. It's going to Hewitt, and the Blues are away. Hand pass off to Newman.
So the two former Sydney Swans players combine and then go straight down the line to the menacing Charlie Kerno, who marks in front of Pink. He wheels around and gives it off to Fogarty, who goes to the top of the goal square. Mackay's there. There's a scramble in the goal square and a quick flying shot off the boot of Owies, but he misses.
Oh, Harry will be dirty on himself. He didn't mark that one.
Yeah, but just very impressive the way they put that ball in that forward line. There was no mucking around.
Blues by 17.
McKercher hits up Stevenson, who's inside the defensive 50. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
Too slow by North Melbourne. Yeah. Really too slow.
Very stagnant. In the end, Stevenson flares it wide to Fisher. It's taken the Carlton fans a little moment to realise he's got the ball. They were booing him in the opening quarter, Zach Fisher. First time up against his old mates. He's off on a run. He doesn't know where he's going. Hand pass goes back to Core. They're in a live play now. Dangerous kick. Wanted power. No mark. Falls to Carroll. Makes them pay. Bends it through. And Jack Carroll extends Carlton's advantage. Make it 5 on the hop. 6-7-43. North Melbourne flat-footed. 3-2-20. 2 minutes into the second quarter. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Mick Malthouse and Cameron Ling.
That was Zach Fisher looking like he was trying to build a parachute as he was had already jumped out of the plane then, because he didn't know where he was going as he played on.
What about the kick to 2v1, 25 metres out in front of Carlton's goal? You could have gone anywhere towards the boundary, and even if you had gone out the full, give him a hard kick. Don't just kick it up the centre with 2v1.
So, half a plan.
Mick, if you're Alistair Clarkson, you're sitting in the coach's box, you've got a plan, North ball, they come out and play for the first 10 minutes, they kick 3 of the first 4 goals, and they're hot, and suddenly they've gone back into their skin. They're just, they're retreated. I'll ask you in one moment, how do you sort of address that? They've been able to play 10 minutes of your game plan, and that's about it before the Blues are really, truly getting on top and kicking inside 50, a retrieving defensive mark taken by McDonald. He keeps it short, kicks to Simpkin. Wedges the kick over the top to Powell, who's got it on the back of the centre square. Got a player loose out wide, but he ignores him in Fisher. Instead, they go around the city wing. Short, sharp kicks rather. Now Stevenson sees something he likes inside 50. Zurha had to jump awkwardly. Grabbed it by the fingertips, couldn't control it. And now once it hits the ground, it's all Carlton. Short kicks through the corridor. George Hewitt able to hit up Akers. Could have given it to Sard, who was bursting past. Ignores him.
No, that can't be 50.
Delivers long, and it is a 50-metre penalty and drags Blake Akers to directly in front of goal.
Sorry, Cal, but that was the rule change that happened towards the end of last season. If a player fakes the handball and a player moves from the mark, it's not 50 anymore.
It's just play on.
Yep.
Spot on. So,
and Sheasel,
that is unfair.
Sheasel bought what Akers sold on the handball. He drifted off the line, and then now Akers marched into scoring range.
So everything is going the Blues' way, including the rub of the green. Directly in front, Akers puts his name on the score sheet, and they have rattled off 6 consecutive goals, the Blues, blowing this one apart with a 29-point lead. Early stages of the second term. 7-7-49, North Melbourne 3-2-20. Mick, back to that question. How does Alistair Clarkson respond? They did it for 10 minutes, and it's all fallen apart.
Yeah, it's very difficult with the younger side to be able to say let's revert to a game plan, because we don't know what the game plan is. Most of these young players that are coming into the side aren't used to anything more than probably a pre-season, maybe one season under the belt. So it's almost impossible. As I said about Carlton before, once you get your MO, your modus operandi, and that becomes part of your DNA, this has been a build-up of Carlton for a number of years, whereas North Melbourne, really, I'd be saying to them, play on, and just see if we can put some pressure back on Carlton's defence.
6 in a row for the Blues. They're in command here. Back in the middle, DeConey palms it down. Cripps hand pass went straight to Davies Uniacke. He's tackled, lost it. Cripps back onto it. Hand pass to DeConey and away to Akers. Kicks Carlton inside 50. McKercher clean. Picks up the half volley. Too much hang time on the hand pass to Sheasel. He's caught. And a ball up centre half forward for the Blues.
Terrific forward pressure from the Blues. Fogarty just read that handball and picked off Sheasel. He was a sitting duck.
Forward 50 stoppage for Carlton. Sherry wins it down. Simpkin clears the dangerous area, but only as far as Newman, who takes the mark. He's the oldest man on the ground at 31. When did that happen? Nick Newman kicks to the top of the goal square, trying to work his way to the front. Cripps, no mark. McDonald holds it in, and there's a ball up 15 metres out from the Carlton goal. Blues by 29, 6 minutes into the second.
We should see how North Melbourne have a set-up outside of 50 here, because they're going to get it.
This is trouble. Mackay in the ruck. Gets it straight down to McKercher. Had it. Tackled by Mackay. Quick handball and the hurried kick out of the defensive 50. They miss it in the air. Wheatering's tracking it. Mops up. Handballs to Newman. Nifty little couple of side steps and then kicks it out in front of McGovern. Stealing it though. It was really well done by Dylan Stevens, the former Swans player, and a sharp kick hits up Larkey. He's a long way from home. He goes to the centre of the bullseye. Sheasel. Casual. And then a high ball, plenty of air in that. Play it now. Coleman Jones has gone down behind play. And he's grabbing at his calf. Meanwhile, play goes on. Cottrell's got it. He's tackled.
Jeez, that's not good.
That's Achilles, like I reckon.
He's Achilles. He's holding the lower right part of the back of his right leg, and he looks like he's in a lot of pain, Coleman Jones. Good. It's a good spot, Cal, but that is an awful scene. And
I just saw him slip. I was watching him.
Yeah, there was no
lead.
one near him. He sort of was in a wrestle in a one-on-one, and then the defensive opponent ran off him, and he fell down and grabbed straight at that calf. He's had so many bad injuries. He's really had a run of bad luck.
He has, hasn't he?
Callum Coleman Jones.
Yeah, and the doctors who are out there are holding that Achilles.
So play has stopped. He had the plantar fascia and the concussion issues last year. Before that, I reckon he's had knee and shoulder problems.
It was just in full stride running, so that is almost what they show you on the video when they're teaching you what an Achilles looks like. North Melbourne had Josh Goda do his Achilles in round one.
Yep.
And Todd Viney, who's the footy boss, actually did his Achilles recently too. So they're calling for the stretcher. This is not good news. Just some news out of last night quickly as the break in play here. Scott Pendlebury can accept a $2,500 fine for his strike on Lockie Neal. So
Michael Christian does that, does he?
Yes. Play for the Pies.
Big Moldhouse. How dare you?
So a fine for Scott Pendlebury. He's free to play next week against the Hawks in Gather Rounder. Just a quick state of play. Carlton have kicked the last 6 goals of the match, and that has come after North Melbourne led by 11 points at the 12-minute mark of the opening quarter. So all Carlton from that point on. They lead the game by 29. Corbin Middlemass alongside Kelly Underwood, the 3-time premiership cat Cameron Ling, and the coaching icon Mick Malthouse with you for Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. There's a breaking play with concerns around the Achilles for Callum Coleman Jones. And Tim Hodges is, of course, with us on the boundary. Hodgie.
Corbin, you do hate to see it, but the signal was made for the second doctor to go out. He took the pack with the green whistle, which normally means that the player is in all sorts of pain, just to try and get that pain under control. So Eddie Ford is in front of me just getting ready, the substitute, so I imagine he'll be injected into this game very shortly. Just on the conditions, it's still 28 degrees outside. It's so much warmer inside with the sun on the closed roof here at the Docklands. Some of the players, even Patrick Cripps at the start of the second term, started on the bench. It took him a couple of minutes to try and unstick the jumper from it. It feels like a game in the tropics in Darwin or Cairns at the moment, just how saturated the players are when they reach the bench after extended periods of play.
Yeah, that's interesting. Just watching him come off the ground, I'll just put my coaching hat on. Who's second ruck? Who rucks second lead?
Yeah.
And the second ruck's going to be up against someone who can ruck. So
And they've already got Griffin Logue out with an ACL, haven't they? And Goda's a backman. He's gone with with his Achilles. And
it's more today though.
Yeah,
it's just
if it's that hot out there,
well, it becomes Nick Larkey, doesn't it? But you don't want Larkey at all in the ruck.
So warm applause for Callum Coleman-Jones, who's on the little Medicart. He actually did stand up, and as soon as he planted that injured leg on the ground, he fell to the ground again. Yeah, so he's got the green whistle in. He's on the medication, the painkillers. That is a really tough injury to come back from.
Well, it's 12 months. You're just written off for 12 months, and then you've got the added thing then of regaining your confidence.
Yeah, Chad Wingard's on his way back at Hawthorn. He's doing well ahead of time, but he did his Achilles in Tassie last year.
There's been a lot of serious injuries early in the season, and the AFL tell us that their data shows first 3 weeks injuries are high, but we've never started earlier, and as you said, it's still warm. It's warmer later, whether you like it or not, and
grounds are going to be harder. And it's not only the ones that you play on, Corby, it's the ones you train on.
Less practice matches too.
29 points is the lead for Carlton after the restart. Fears of an Achilles tear for Callum Coleman-Jones. He's been subbed out and stretched it off. From the restart, first clean touch falls the Blues way. An effective hand pass from Durden. Away to Newman, kicks down the wing. Hands to it, Kennedy, no mark. McDonald's trying to claim it. The ump says that's fair. So McDonald marks in front of the interchange gates. Carlton by 29 points, 11 played second quarter.
And he thumps it on his left. There's a big pack. They come in from all angles. The umpire's picked out a free, and it's going to go to the Roos. It'll go to Dersma. He's got some real grit about him.
Yeah, he's for a first-year player, there's a few bits and pieces that he needs to tidy up.
190 centimetres. He's on a 45-degree angle. He hasn't got 55 in his boot, or he doesn't think he has, so he goes to the top of the goal square. Akers dumps it out of there. And it's marked by Simpkin. 48 metres out, directly in front. And the captain can go back and maybe slot this for the Roos and put an end to a run of 6 consecutive goals for Carlton.
Yeah, they had a pretty good setup there behind the ball. Simpkin was one of them. There was a few set up in what you call the old-fashioned wall. When you set up like that, you need pressure around the ball to force the quick kick, and that's exactly what they got. The dump kick out that didn't clear the 50. And well taken by the skipper.
So Jai Simpkin, the 26-year-old, can he stand up here and give his team something in the halfway through this second term? He can't. He misses to the left. So Carlton with a 28-point lead after they led by 16 at quarter time. 12 minutes gone in the second term.
The worry, Kel, is that when the ball goes in the North Melbourne's forward line, it is coming out very, very easily. And Carlton have got a lot of numbers, and then they're able to get the ball to the wing very easily.
Carlton after trying down the dock side, they're going to have a go down the city side. It opens up as Williams finds Boyd, kicks long to Ollie Hollins. He's in the full perimeter. Marks against the boundary line. City wing. He goes short, back inboard, waxing with his brother. Hey there, Elijah takes the mark on the wing, looks to centre half forward, Cripps marks for Carlton, shoots a hand pass back inboard to Carroll for his second of the quarter. He's off target, he's missed the whole set. Out on the full, Carlton by 28 points, 13 gone, second term. Tim Hodges on the boundary.
Oh, sorry, Corbin, I didn't realise they were going to start play again. I'll let you keep going.
So the kick in came from Scott.
Great tackle by Sard, holding the ball, fantastic. Just nailed Zerha with a great chase down tackle.
Yeah.
Exactly what you love from your senior players, as they're just trying to continue to set the trend of this game, the Blues.
Well, Sard goes backwards to Chera, who dropped it cold but was able to have time to go back and regain it. And then he kicked to his teammate Marchbank, who dropped it cold as well and forced to apply the tackle. So it'll be a ball up on the edge of the centre circle. Tim Hodges.
Just an update from the Roos, Kel. It looked for all the world like an Achilles for Callum Coleman-Jones. The club fears it might be a broken ankle, so I'm not sure if that's worse or better, but that's what coming directly from the club.
All right, thanks, Tim. Still a very serious injury.
No sign of that on the replay, was it?
How would you do that, though? How would you break it? Just taking a step.
They tossed up Cherry, beats De Koning. De Koning tackles him to the ground. Brutal muscle there from Chera, but his handball was smothered, and now the Blues can run away with it. Dylan Stevens, beautiful delivery. Dylan Stevens' bullet-like pass hits up Larky on the chest.
There you go, North fans. Just another glimpse of George Wardlaw there in that he was so clean and such great vision around that contest. And the flick out to Stevens just set him on his way.
So there's moments, isn't there?
Yeah, I know North fans love Wardlaw and they're going to love him for a long, long time. He is a beauty.
Larky lining up for his second goal of the afternoon. And the sharpshooter celebrates with the extended arm and the pointed finger to the heavens. He's got his second, and they break a run of 6 consecutive goals. And the margin is 22 points. Carlton lead, 7-7-49, 4-3-27. But Hodgie, has the sub confirmed? Has it been made for the Roos?
It has, Kelly. It has officially been made. So Callum Coleman-Jones obviously out, not coming back tonight or probably for the rest of the year. Eddie Ford comes into the game, and Lingy, those sideburns on Eddie Ford, it looks more like Elvis Ford. Those sideburns are doing lots.
I did notice that, Hodgie. Great call. They are just something straight out of Mick's era, I think. Hodgie, did you ever rock any like that?
I had sideburns like everyone else.
I think his nickname is Elvis.
Oh, right.
For obvious reasons.
Good on him.
I think he's actually trying to lean into it with the sideburns, and that was because when he first arrived at the club, the boys thought the sideburns were a little long for the modern era. There's a free kick in the middle going North's way, and the Bronx cheer, and now Sherry hasn't taken it over the mark, and they won't be happy with this, the home crowd. That stopped the run of 6 consecutive goals that North had conceded. That is a trend through the early season. They conceded 5 in a row against the Giants, 9 in a row against the Dockers, and now 6 early here. Out to the wing. Core eventually collects. Hand pass to Stevens, the former Swan. Kicks inside 50. Wedering leaps up, no mark. Hits the deck. Simpkin jams it on the boot. Kicks goalward, but back as the goalkeeper is Akers. Doing that roll as the fat side winger gets all the way back. Some heavy running as he kicks long out to half-back. Durden leaps up into his opponent's back, and McDonald, the footy stays alive. Dawson can send it back inside 50. Durst, no good read on it. No mark in the pocket. Deep forward for North. Throw a blanket over 5 or 6 players. Ump lets them go. Marchbank got it out to McGovern, to Newman, back to McGovern, and he kicks a high bomb out of the defensive arc.
And the double fist by the Roos keeps it inside 50. Here's a chance. So Tuckett with a bouncing ball. Wiedering gets it. He just slashes at that ball, and it might trickle all the way out of bounds. That's got to be deliberate, surely, umpire. Yes, it is.
Grab the ball and just go. You've got to assume that's going to be deliberate.
So Dylan Stevens got it. He's had a good second quarter. That lethal left boot. Can he hit up a target inside 50? He's just going to pop it up in the air. Ask them to run and leap. That's exactly what Zerha did back of the pack. He skittled the pack. Paul Curtis applies a tackle. It'll be a ball up on Matt Kennedy. Ball up top of the goal square.
What was the hesitation for there?
The kick?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. You got to just assume that was always going to be paid. Treat it as almost a loose ball. Grab it and go.
Sherry flicked it. Just a little cute tap behind him. Zerha was onto it, but Chera stopped him.
Good setup by North Melbourne outside 50. Really good setup.
Another ball up. Yeah. Cripps had it. It's been stolen by Curtis. He tried to beat 1, beat 2. He did too much, the umpire said. And he's been pinged. So on the last line of defence, it's George Hewitt who's got it for the Blues.
Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. It is Carlton by 22. Fears of a lower leg injury for Coleman-Jones. Well, certainly the fears are well founded. He was stretchered off and subbed out of the game moments ago, receiving the green whistle as he departed. Hollands, that's Ollie off the back flank. Hand pass to Newman, kicks down the wing. There's another free kick. It's a lot of intervention, particularly with the key forwards, and Curno's getting a kick here for a hold against Dawson. Curno on the wing, in front of the interchange. Dock side, goes long inside 50. Mackay just moves Pink out of the way and takes the mark left half forward.
Oh, Toby Pink is having one of those hellish afternoons that can sometimes happen in a game of footy. Whoever he ends up on in any situation, he is just being out-manoeuvred, out-muscled and out-marked. And it's an awful feeling.
I almost suggest that he plays from behind. I know that might, because he's a small opponent, but he might be better off being the attacker from behind as opposed to getting the ball.
Jump a bit.
Yeah, I reckon.
Harry Mackay, slightly worse than a 45-degree angle. He moves in. His drop punt is pure. It's the new Harry. Straight through it goes. And Carlton jump back out by 28 points. A second for Mackay, 8:7.55. North Melbourne 4:3.27. He's got his new routine, which we've spoken a bit about already. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. He puts the ball on the ground, goes back, does his process that he's worked on all summer at Princes Park, comes in, kicks him dead straight.
Just getting back to that, Lingy, I just think that when the ball's in motion, yep, okay, stand in front so you can stop the lead, but when the ball's sort of like it's going to be 50 metres away and there's a bit of traffic in front of you, just jump in behind, right up on top of the player, and then if you need to get up, have a big jump at it. But at the moment he's getting mauled in front because he just hasn't got the body power nor he doesn't. Two things: he's not finding out where his man is, doesn't know where the ball is, so he's getting really caught out.
Mick Moldhouse, Cameron Ling joining us on ABC Sport this Good Friday. Carlton trying to join the Giants and the Swans unbeaten from their first 3 games. As the lead of 28 points in the second quarter. The fend off by Cripps didn't quite come off. Oh, but Kennedy just as strong. A hip and shoulder. He won the ball. He kicks towards Mackay. Oh, he's just lurking at the base. Under the pump here, the Roos. Zach Fisher, last line of defence to the youngster. McKercher on the left. He's kicked it almost straight to Akers. He breathes a sigh of relief. Oh, the umpire's blown his whistle. Has he? No, play on. Cripps sidesteps on the 50. Here's Hewitt. He goes short. Sard with a rare fumble to Kennedy, who had to pick it up between his legs. He regathers. He goes long. Harry's at the back. Harry to kick his third. He can't break the tackle. He gives it off to a teammate. Fogarty kicks it across the face. And if Harry doesn't get you, Charlie will. Fogarty with the dinky little left boot to the top of the goal square. And Charlie swallows it up.
That's all you can ask for. Just great disciplined play by Fogarty. Knew that it wasn't his turn, wasn't his time to have a shot at goal. Sometimes you've got to go for the miracle one because there's no other options on, but he knew there, get it back to this dangerous part of the ground, and either one of Harry or Charlie would be sitting there, and it was Charlie.
One of them's going to have a huge day today. Mackay's got 2. Curnow. Oh, he's missed.
Got it.
Just. Okay. I was watching all the Carlton fans, and they did not move. They thought it missed. Charlie with no reaction, but he's got 2 as well. And the contest this afternoon might be between the 2 Carlton spearheads. And which one kicks more? That margin now 34 points. Carlton 9-7-61. North Melbourne 4-3-27.
Well, they come into the game with 6 each. We've got 8 each now for the year so far. But it's what I said before, Lingy. They don't get in each other's road because they just know how to work each other. That was kicked, well, hand passed out by Mackay, and it ends up at where Charlie Curnow is, probably 30, 40 or 35 metres away from his buddy, you know. So it's great play.
It's a sign of a really good forward combination, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you don't see.
Blues by a new game high, 34 points. DeConey wins the hit out the middle. Centre clearance for Carroll. Jams it on the boot. Sheasel collects but falls to ground. Hand pass straight into the bonds of Carroll. Eventually he gathers the footy. Hand passes it back into dispute. Says there's a throw. It's against Carlton. And Owens. Free kick going to go Sheasel's way. Centre half back. He swings the kick wide for North Melbourne. It's all unravelled for North. They led by 11 points early. Kicked 3 the first 4 goals in their feature game. Super clash on Good Friday. And this is Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Corbin Middlemass and Kelly Underwood calling the footy. Mick Moldhouse and Cameron Ling, our experts, and Tim Hodges on the boundary. As North kick it down the wing through Scott. There's too much on that. Hands to it from Saab, no mark, but Carlton win it anyway. Wiedering, hand pass to Elijah Hollins, just taps it to brother Ollie, who grabs the footy, kicks inside 50. Core puts his fist through it, finds the safety of the boundary line out at half back. Boundary throw in, 55 out from the Carlton goal. Tim Hodges on the boundary.
Corbin, I love Charlie Curnow's reaction. He came straight to the bench after that goal. He's still smiling now. That came off his shin. It wasn't a helicopter. The ball actually went the other way that a drop punch should. Like, it went forward flipping, if you know what I mean.
Oh, thanks for just trying to describe it, Hodgie. I couldn't. The crowd didn't move. He didn't celebrate. Yes, it was a goal.
I think the crowd said, look, we're not cheering that. Not the way that went through.
DeConey got a free kick outside 50. It's an absolute monster! And it's marked by the monster on the goal line. The player that needs no introduction, number 10 for the Blues. Now he's put the side snap away for this year.
He's got to do it here, though. That's
surely.
The perfect one. Yep.
He's 6 metres out on the tightest of angles, almost basically standing next to the point post. He's on the right side for a left footer. Can he guide it home? He spanks it home. Mackay's got 3. Carlton have got 10. And they are threatening to run away with this in the second half. We still haven't got there yet. It's 6 minutes to go before half-time. Carlton by 40. 10-7-67. North 4-3-27.
So, Mick, I get what the planning was. So Pink was going to play on Harry Mackay. Dawson was going to play on Charlie Curnow. Aidan Corr was going to be their support.
Yep.
Well, they can't get the support. They are one-on-one everywhere, those two, wherever they go, because of what you've been talking about, how well they isolate. I think you have to move Aidan Corr to it now. Like, you can't keep putting your total of 11 game defenders, the two of them, on those two stars. Make Corr, who's played 142 games, play on one of them.
Oh, I totally agree. And he would have been done out before too, except for a spoil from behind.
Here's Larky rucking now in the absence of Coleman Jones. Wins a hit out. Simpkin, hand pass, releases Powell. Dashing away on the wing, kicks a torp on the run, and in the end, Eddie Ford forced to spoil. Plays the role of the defender inside 50 and a boundary throw in 45 out from the North goal. Carlton by 40 points. They've kicked 9 of the last 10 in the game.
They may have changed that now, Lee. I think you might be...
Yeah, only thing, though, that Charlie's not on the ground yet. So I reckon they're making moves, aren't they? They're trying to...
Rucks miss it completely. Kennedy for the Blues had it, lost it, dispossessed. There's Larky inside forward 50 for North. Hands it to Curtis. Spears a pass to Lazaro. Marks at centre half forward for North Melbourne. And he'll have a look at the sticks here.
Showed some really good signs in the first quarter. Lazaro in the middle was clean, used the ball well. This is something he just needs to keep adding to his game when he is forward. Keep finding a way to kick a few goals.
Coleman Jones subbed out. We thought it looked like a stock standard Achilles injury, but the club is fearing a broken ankle. We'll get more on that in a moment. So he's been subbed out for Eddie Ford. Here's Lazaro arcing out to his right. He drives one through for North. Boy, did they need that. 26 and a half gone in the second term. Carlton's lead cut to 34. The Baggers 10-7-67. North Melbourne on the back of the Charlie Lazaro goal. 5-3-33. 26 and a half gone second term. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Tim Hodges on the boundary.
Corbin, we do appreciate North Melbourne. Always great with us, with the media. They were very honest with us. That's why the ankle initial information caught us by surprise. They've now said they do fear it is a ruptured Achilles. So I'm not sure who gave them that information, but they were really honest and said straight away that they thought it was a broken ankle. But now, unfortunately, it's probably what's worth getting eaten by a crocodile or a shark, but it sounds like it is, unfortunately, an Achilles for Coleman Jones.
Just coming back to that goal, Lazaro used his brains. He was probably a yard too short. So what he did, he ran next to the man on the mark who's not allowed to move.
Correct.
Restart back in the middle. Powell for the Roos. Grabbed the footy. There's a free kick. He was legged as the tackle slipped down. So Tom Powell will get it. Still inside the centre square. Carlton by 34 as we tick towards half-time.
So running around behind his back was McDonald. He accepts the handball. McDonald, he drives it long inside 50.
Push in the back.
And it'll be a free kick to the Roos. Carlton player on the deck as a result of that little tussle, but the free kick...
Landed very heavily to that goal.
Yeah, the free kick going to Eddie Ford.
Yeah, Eddie Ford just copped what looked to be a pretty big shove in the back. I'm keen to see the replay to see if he accentuated it, but
what would you
Marchbank gave a push.
What would you go with, by the way, the shark or the crocodile is Hodges' analogy if you had to try and
drown myself.
You wouldn't have time.
They're not good options.
Just keep your head under the water. You would cop any of those two.
Eddie Ford to get it back to a 28-point margin as we head towards half-time. He started as the sub. He's on for the injured Coleman Jones. He's on a 45-degree angle. The distance will really test him, and it's been marked. Marked by Curtis. Pure strength, he outmarked Sard on the edge of the goal square.
Yeah, that's a great mark. That is a really good mark. Dan Hurd and Hipwood would have liked that one last night.
Definition of strong hands. Curtis finishes off his good work. He's got 2 and a couple in a row for the Roos. It's 28 points now, the margin. That's their 6 goals. 6-3-39 North Melbourne, Carlton 10-7-67 with just under 4 to play before the main break.
Keep looking at these players. First thing I do is run, using the club record here, go into their age. Yes, they are so young.
So young.
It's
crazy.
Look, he is, Paul Curtis, he's just had his 21st birthday.
They have 4 teenagers, and their oldest player is 29, so they don't have a 30-year-old in their team.
No, and I think it's probably laid up with kids that are 18 through to 24, I would have thought. Yeah, that's
So
just brilliant. Like their ruckman.
The only 29-year-olds they have are McDonald and Paul.
Yeah, he's just turned 25, and he's a ruckman. Ruckmen don't mature until around about this age.
Here is Sherry. Wins the hit out back in the middle. Elijah Holland's clever. Paddles it out to Chera. Hand pass away to Williams up the back of the square. Kicks wide. Dangerous ball, but eventually got it to Hewitt. Had to spoil the would-be mark from Stevens. Hand pass to Akers. Kicks to high half forward. Cottrell scoops it up. Clean the Blues. De Koning receives a hand pass. Gives one to Akers. Kicks goalward. Charlie hands to it. No mark. Through for a behind. Put it down off the boot of Akers. Carlton by 29, half-hour mark, second term.
Quick on that kick in, and it's been intercepted. A handball, accepting it is Chera. A little smother, just gives them a moment to pause here for the Roos. They're still under the pump, though. Scott is tackled to the turf. The umpire says, yep, we'll toss that up. 25 metres out, 45-degree angle. Closer to goal for the Blues. Chera leaps up high to Davies Uniacke to McDonald. He's got one either side, and he can do nothing with that except fall on the ground. So another ball up, 26 metres out this time. In the ruck, Sherry and De Koning, fresh air for both. Banging it out of there was Wardlaw. Unable to pick it up, down low was Larkey. And now the foot race is on out wide. Scott's there. He gathers. Does well under pressure. Sheasel fakes one way. Kicks on the left. It's all hurried. Larkey forced to spoil from behind. And he spoils it right in front, over the interchange gates, in fact. Where Paul Curtis is looking to get back on for the Roos. And Kennedy comes on for the Blues. Taking a seat is Hewitt.
No wonder you love, and we all do, Nick Larkey so much, Mick. He does so much work to just create a contest and work hard for his team.
From the boundary throw in, Kennedy gets the clearance, kicks down to Curnow, knocked away from him by Dawson. Sheasel somehow kicked it as he was falling to ground. A drop kick ended up out of bounds, and we'll have a throw in 70 out from the Blues goal. This is Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Corbin Middlemass and Kelly Underwood, Tim Hodges on the boundary, and Cameron Ling and Mick Moldhouse, your ABC Sport experts. From Bales, listening to the call on the road to Exmouth, 40 degrees outside. Surrounded by red sand and anthills. Come on, the Blues from Bales. Thanks, Bales. Nice to hear from you. More of your takes off the SMS at halftime.
I'm feeling their chocolate might be melting there.
Yes. I'll put that right underneath the aircon vent. 32 minutes into the second term. It is Carlton by 29 points from the restart. Kennedy fights through the tackle. Hand pass back inboard to Elijah Hollands. Hand pass away to Sard. Just a high bomb down to half forward. Curnow arriving late, competes in the air, no mark, spills down to McKercher. Hand pass out wide, still tracking it, Ollie Hollands puts his head over it for the Blues, pack forms over the top. And we'll have a ball up, half forward, right on the 50 for Carlton. 52 and a half minutes into this second term. It'll be a long one after a suspected Achilles injury for Callum Coleman-Jones earlier. Was subbed out of the game and off with the green whistle.
Back underway. Here's Scott. Dancing around a couple of players, delivering long down the line. Curtis set himself, and then the spoil from McGovern. He fisted that about 10-15 metres right into the Roos bench. So another boundary throw in.
Hope Sheasel's not falling for, I'm on the bottom side, I'm a great player, or I'm going to be a very good player. I don't have to do a lot of the hard work. He could have really helped his teammate there by putting his body in.
That's much better by Sherry, straight down to Wardlaw, but he couldn't control it. Now it's a 50-50 ball. Wardlaw again, great hands to Powell, to Sheasel. Here's the young gun. Simpkin gets involved. And now here's Fisher, the former Blue, delivering inside 50, almost but not quite to Zerha. He goes to ground. He copped a heavy knock. And the quick turnover could kill them here, the Blues. The high ball down the line. Unable to control it, but making sure it does go over the boundary line is the young defender, Callan Dawson.
Well done by Callan Dawson. I think it was Owies had the run of the ball and Dawson had to leave Charlie Curnow, which is not a nice feeling. But he did it because his team needed him to do it. And he forced that one over the boundary line. Well played.
A boundary throw in. Sherry palms it down straight to Wardlaw, locked up by Cripps, and a ball up. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Carlton by 29. 34 travelled in the second. Coleman-Jones subbed out with a suspected Achilles earlier in the quarter. From the restart, Simpkin tried to get a kick away, spoiled by his own teammate Stevens. Rolls to Sard. Handball for Carlton, misses Chera. It's out of play, and a throw in on that City wing. Horatio Fantasia is the sub for Carlton. He is yet to be used. The Blues led the game by as many as 40 points as we ticked into time on in this second quarter. They'd kicked 9 out of 10 goals at one stage.
They've done well to get back in the game.
Yeah, North responding with the last 2 and make a game of it as we tick towards half-time. Ball up on the wing, there's a free kick. After Chera was tackled, didn't dispose of it correctly, said the umpire. Free kick for the Roos. They feel like they're a little hard done by.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Roos, most of the free kicks have been down inside their defensive 50 to either Kerno or Mackay.
Dylan Stevens has the footy at half-back. He's just going to go long with a contest kick. Zerhout runs underneath it. Ball spills out the back to Williams. Hand pass away to Marchbank. Kicks Carlton back down the wing, and McKercher takes the intercept mark. He goes back to Sheasel on the back flank for North.
Sheasel to centre half back where Luke McDonald's got it. All by foot this is, and then he's going to flare it wide. He's put his teammate under a lot of pressure here, Zach Fisher, but he's good enough to trap the ball on the bounce and then deliver to Pink. So Pink marks in front of the number 20 for the Blues, Elijah Hollins on debut, former Gold Coast player. But for poor old Dawson and Pink, they have been thrown to the wolves, the young defenders for the Kangaroos this afternoon, and those Wolves have kicked 5 goals between them. Harry Mackay and Charlie Kernover. They've pulled their ears back and they have bared their teeth under the closed roof at Docklands this afternoon. Mackay's 3, Kerno's got 2, Carlton has 10, and they lead by 29 points at half-time, 10-8-68. North Melbourne 6-3-39. The other goal kickers for Carlton, Akers, Carroll, Chera, Durden and Hewitt. And for the Roos, it's 2 each to Larkey and Curtis. Singles to Zerha and Lazaro. Margin is 29 points at the main break.
First leg of a double header still to come tonight. Friday footy in round 3. It is Good Friday, of course. Later tonight, Fremantle and Adelaide out west. So we'll take you there for the full 4 quarters following the match here. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. John Ralph from the Herald Sun reporting that North have actually had 5 Achilles at the club since late last year. So list boss Brady Rawlings, footy boss Todd Viney, Josh Gota in round 1, and AFLW player Jenna Bruton, plus Coleman Jones, a suspected Achilles here in the second quarter. So that's a heavy toll for North Melbourne, all similar injuries. Presumably a bunch of players all playing a lot of footy at Arden Street and training out there, and they've had similar injuries from various parts of the footy department on and off field.
Jenna Bruton did hers in the grand final and it cost them...
That's right.
Yeah, it was hugely significant because she was one of the best on ground. And I think the AFL CEO has recently done his Achilles as well, just making his way back from that. Andrew Dillon.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow. There you go.
I didn't tell you that. I'm not allowed to tell you that, but there you go.
Wow.
Having a hit of tennis.
Jason in WA off the SMS. Hi, team. How do you think West Coast could go tomorrow? And do you think Isaac Heaney could win the Brownlow?
Well, he's on 9 votes already.
Yes, off to a hot start. Liv in... How did West Coast go? I think they're about a 48-point underdog against the Bulldogs.
Yeah, well, that's probably about right.
Yep.
Right, they did well to keep the last week's game to 10 goals. I was worried it was going to be 20.
And Liv in Maroopna. Please, my Blues are doing well. I hope it continues. Kudos to the ABC website for highlighting the Corowa, Rutherglen and Yea fielding football teams. After missing a few years, please highlight positive stories such as this. Clubs are the focal point of many communities. Absolutely they are. Thanks, Liv, for that. I'm pretty sure that's in the O&M League.
Ovens and Murray, yeah.
Which we covered the grand final there last year, which was a hell of a game of footy.
You took Brett Deledio there.
We caught up with Adam Schneider, who's coaching in the league. He was part of our call team. Yeah. And in the end, it was a pulsating grand final. There was like 12 lead changes, and the mighty Yarrawonga Pigeons were able to prevail over Albury.
Coached by my old teammate Steve Johnson.
It was a really fun afternoon, so hopefully we'll get back out to the O&M at some stage this year. The thoughts of Cameron Ling and Mick Moldhouse. It's half-time. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. The Blues by 29.
Well, Lingy, the last 5 minutes, now it may have come because of the injury and the game sort of settled into a, like it was almost like it's Easter, let's bring it back a total too because everyone's on holiday. Because North Melbourne then got back in the game and Carlton's dynamic type play ceased. North were able to get the football game, made a few mistakes, but by and large are still having a real crack. I like the fact that they've got so many young players and They're prepared. They're clearly on the back half. They are undermanned.
Yep.
I was interested to see if there's a ruck change. There wasn't. So Cherry's rucked virtually the whole quarter. That's going to be interesting whether they get through a game of as hot as what they say is out there. We're in air conditioned here, so it's a bit different. I just suspect Carlton sort of just backed off a little bit. If they put the foot back on the accelerator, they'll win this game by what it is at the moment. So it's a 4-goal. Though technically speaking, they should win it by 8+. And that's nothing against North Melbourne. Just simply they haven't got the manpower. And we went through those ages. Corby just said how many young players there are. And young players will make mistakes. Young players will also give you enthusiasm. They'll also take some gambles from time to time. They'll fly for the football, which we didn't expect them to do. I think it was Curtis who took that really nice mark that kicked his second goal. We've seen
Wardlaw at times take the ball really well and push it out.
Absolutely, Stevens, just a nice bit of play. We've seen. I just think that a couple of their forward ones, Zaha is just he's a bull, but he doesn't know what he's doing. So therefore, if he was able to be a bit more calculated, he would bring a lot more players into the game around him. They stopped the rot of the ball coming out of the back line really quickly. In fact, the inside 50s went
pretty even that quarter.
Yeah, 11-12 I think it might have been. So that's not. We're not knocking neither side are knocking the door down to keep it inside their front 50. That's 11-12. That's 23 for both sides. That's not a lot. Carlton clearly have got an advantage because they're big key forwards. They're not playing. They're playing like Hawkins and Cameron. They're playing like sides that know how to play together but don't play on top of each other. And the Kai's hand pass out, quick kick across. Curnow marks it, kicks a goal. That's the sort of play. 35 metres. And I noticed I looked up there at one stage, and Kennedy was full forward, and both tall players were 30 metres off him. So they were about 50 to 60 metres apart. That worries back line players because you don't know what they're going to do. So North are clearly undermanned in the back part as far as their key players go. I've been encouraged by the fact that they've kept at it. I think that's the way to do it. But I'd also encourage, if I was sort of sitting there at half time, I'd be going, let's get some play on. Let's get that ball moving. Yeah. We don't want them to get the extra man behind the play because they're killing us behind the play because they've got a good setup, and that put the pressure back on their face.
And they're bigger and they're stronger. So going slow and just kicking constantly through a long contest means Carlton can go to work. And you're right, Carlton have been impressive the way that they've set the game up.
Yep.
But they did just probably drop off a little bit.
Sure.
And I reckon Michael Voss speaking at halftime will be, no, it's not about just the result in today's game. It's about continuing to build our habits.
Yep.
As you said, the MO that we play with every single time we take the field. Because they're not an established,
top
last
rank
5 or 6 finals, won a flag, this sort of. They've got to still build the way that they're going to play every single week. For North Melbourne, Mick, all those young guys have shown those little glimpses that I know North Melbourne fans are looking towards the future with. But to stay competitive in games, they need their more experienced players. Not they've got many, and their better players playing really well. Luke Davies-Uniacke is struggling a little bit at the moment.
He is today.
Yeah,
really
he's had 9 touches, has not had a clearance yet.
No.
So it's those types of players he's still pretty young, but he's 24 and he's played, 88 games now. So when you're under the pump and you're up against a team you're probably going to lose to, your slightly more experienced players need to play good football so that the Wardlaws and Sheasels and these types of players can just continue to build on learning the game, learning their craft. Now, George Hewitt's probably done a bit of a job on Davies-Uniacke through the middle of the ground, so that's
and he's a hard man to get away from.
Hard, tough, disciplined, good decision maker himself. So
can I just jump into this 1 second?
Yeah.
Lingy? I'm impressed that would take place because we quite often see a side that maybe potentially better go. My 3 mids are going to be my 3 mids. I like the fact, and this is where you would know it at Geelong. You were that player, and you picked off their best player.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden your other 2 players can have their way.
Well, that comes back to learning those good habits, doesn't it?
Yes,
you
it does.
Play it regardless of the opposition. We are going to play with this player playing slightly more defensively, and then the people around them, you go for it. You can attack with real vigour, regardless of who we're playing against.
Yep. It's half-time in the Good Friday Super Clash. Carlton by 29 points over North Melbourne. The Good Friday appeal, by the way, raising money for sick kids and hospital research at the Royal Children's Hospital. The figure is currently at 9,842,404, which is a tremendous effort. So goodfridayappeal.com.au. More of your thoughts off the SMS coming up, 0437 774 774. And second half action here at Docklands around the corner. This is Good Friday Footy on ABC Sport. But first, let's get the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
ABC News with Glenn Lauder. South Korea's new ambassador to Australia has offered to resign after less than a month in the job. Here's North Asia correspondent James Oden.
Former South Korean Defence Minister Lee Jong-sup was only in Australia for 10 days before he flew home. His appointment earlier this month as top envoy was politically contentious ahead of parliamentary elections in April. He's being investigated for allegedly interfering with an investigation into the drowning of a South Korean soldier. The Marine died during flooding last year, and it was revealed he did not have a life jacket. South Korea's Corruption Investigation Office for high-ranking officials stated it did not grant Lee Jong-sup permission to leave the country.
Police in Alice Springs have arrested 3 children allegedly involved in an armed home invasion overnight. Officers say up to 7 children entered the property armed with a screwdriver, an edged weapon and possibly a firearm, with a 12, 13 and 17-year-old arrested. Elsewhere, police say several youths stole crossbows and knives from a camping store in the centre of town. Despite the 2 incidents, NT Police Commissioner Michael Murphy says a 2-week youth curfew in the town is already showing signs of success.
Drawing on some really good solutions, and that's going to help us form up what Day 14 looks like, and transitioning from a really heavy police presence to more of a community-owned solution. So some really good things happening, especially with the local Indigenous leaders.
The Tasmanian Senator Jackie Lambie is wishing Tammy Tyrrell the best of luck after her fellow senator resigned from her party. Yesterday, Senator Tyrrell announced she was leaving the Jackie Lambie network and sitting on the crossbench as an independent. Senator Lambie says one of her missions has always been to give people who aren't part of the political class an opportunity to serve the Australian people. She says they'll both continue to represent Tasmania in the Senate, and their working relationship and friendship won't change. Australian winemakers say South American competitors have carved out a significant slice of the Chinese market in the 3 years since tariffs were imposed on Australian exports. The $1.1 billion a year industry was hit hard when China imposed a 200% tariff on Australian wine in 2020. Those tariffs have been officially lifted from today, but Mark Bourne from Wine New South Wales says countries like Chile have moved into China in the meantime.
They're really highly competitive in the wine market internationally, and they've got some advantages to do with cheaper labour and cheaper manufacturing processes. So we've got to be smart about how we go back in here and lead with our premium end of our wines, make those bonds much stronger for the long term.
A wet Easter long weekend is being forecast for some parts of Australia, while many capitals will experience mild conditions. It's expected to be a balmy weekend for Sydney, Canberra, Adelaide and Melbourne, with temperatures in the mid to high 20s. But the Bureau of Meteorology's Dean Narramore says showers are expected for some other areas.
We could see widespread 25 to 50 millimetres from pretty much Darwin, Tennant Creek, down into Birdsville, Lake Eyre and even into northwest parts of New South Wales. So definitely some soaking rains there. Could see some isolated falls even heavier than that. But elsewhere, pretty light or none at all.
Heading overseas now, and there are reports that more than 30 people, including Hezbollah militants, have been killed in an airstrike on northern Syria. Here's Thanmaya Navada.
Witnesses say explosions lit up the sky in the early hours of the morning near the city of Aleppo's international airport. The Syrian government says a number of missiles have been shot down by air defences, but several have hit parts of Aleppo's countryside. It's believed both civilians and military personnel have been killed. The Syrian Defence Ministry has blamed Israel for the attack, but the country is yet to comment on the incident. Israel has stepped up attacks on Syria and nearby Lebanon, where Hezbollah is based, since fighting against Hamas began in October.
The governor of the US state of Maryland says federal funding will help to start the rebuild of a collapsed bridge in Baltimore. The Biden administration's authorised an initial $90 million to help clear debris from the bridge, which collapsed after it was struck by a cargo ship. The biggest crane on the country's east coast is being sent to join the emergency effort. Governor Wes Moore says the US economy depends on the Port of Baltimore, which is one of the busiest in the country.
The port handles more cars and more farm equipment than any other port in America. And at least 8,000 workers on the docks have jobs that have been directly affected by this collapse. Our economy depends on the Port of Baltimore, and the Port of Baltimore depends on vessel traffic.
And you've been listening to the latest from ABC News.
Hey, want to hear something really funny?
Well, of course.
The Melbourne International Comedy Festival is back.
You ready for a big night of comedy, yeah?
With the All-Stars Super Show on the ABC, Wednesday night, April 3rd. And if you missed the hilarious gala, catch it right now on ABC iView.
Let that marinate there for a second.
The Melbourne International Comedy Festival.
Have a great festival, everybody.
With the All-Stars Super Show, Wednesday night, April 3rd on ABC TV and streaming on ABC iView.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
And pass goes back to Call. They're in a live play now. Dangerous kick. Wanted power. No mark. Falls to Carroll. Makes them pay. Bends it through. And Jack Carroll extends Carlton's advantage.
Dylan Stevens, bullet-like pass, hits up Larkey on the chest. Larkey lining up for his second goal of the afternoon. And the sharpshooter celebrates with the extended arm and the pointed finger to the heavens. And they break a run of 6 consecutive goals.
Front of the interchange, dockside, goes long inside 50. Mackay just moves Pink out of the way and takes the mark left half forward. Harry Mackay, slightly worse than a 45-degree angle. He moves in, his drop punt is pure. It's the new Harry. Straight through it goes.
DeConey got a free kick outside 50. It's an absolute monster! And it's marked by the monster on the goal line. He's on the right side for a left footer. And he guided home. He spanks it home. Mackay's got 3. Carlton have got 10.
There's Larkey inside forward 50 for North. Hands it to Curtis. Spears a pass to Lazaro. Marks at centre half forward for North Melbourne. Here's Lazaro arcing out to his right. He drives one through for North. Boy, do they need that.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and on the ABC Listen app.
Sounds there from the second quarter as Carlton have pulled away in this game. They kicked the last 4 in the opening term. And then they kicked, 5 in the first 6 in the second quarter, led by 40 points at one stage. North put a good face on it late in the term. They've kicked the last 2 goals. Throw it all together, it's Carlton by 29 points at half-time. Corporate Middlemass alongside Kelly Underwood, ABC Sport experts Mick Malthouse and Cameron Ling, and Tim Hodges on the boundary as the umpires and the 2 teams make their way back out with the third quarter just a few moments away. Paul from Mount Dundee off the SMS says...
Corbs, Mount Dunedin.
Did I get it wrong?
Yes, it's okay. It's halfway between Geelong and Torquay.
That's, as you can tell, I'm not a native Victorian, but I'm learning it. I'm learning as we go. Mount Dunedin. My apologies, Paul.
It's okay, Corbs.
Hey, lads. Cleaning the garage. Nothing else to do on Good Friday. Only your terrific broadcast getting me through this mundane chore. Special mention to Mick. Love his old-school, no-nonsense commentary. We absolutely love having the coaching legend Mick Malthouse with us. Hi, team. Listening to the game on ABC whilst travelling on the bullet train from Tokyo to Osaka. Go the Blues. From David and Joe.
Very nice, David and Joe.
Yeah, I reckon.
It's a good way to take it in. There's no doubt about it. 0437 774 774 is the SMS number. Now, there is an NRL game on today. If you want to listen to that, you can find it through the ABC Listen app. Look out for the green ABC Sport button. I feel like they've missed a trick, to be honest, in the NRL. They've got a team called the Bunnies.
Yeah.
And they don't play on Easter Sunday.
No.
They play on Good Friday. So they're in action today up against the Canterbury Bulldogs. So you can follow along with that through the ABC Listen app. The score at the moment, 74th minute, Rabbitohs 18, Bulldogs 12. So the Bunnies are up by a converted try.
The Bunnies needed to pick their game up from last week.
Yeah.
They've been a run-over bunny.
That's right. They, against their arch rivals, the Roosters got hold of them, didn't they?
Smacked them.
So the Bunnies up by 6 at the moment with about 10 minutes or so to go. Second half, not far away here. Just some other news from around the footy world. Scott Pendlebury picks up a fine, so $2,500 for his open hand strike as the league's saying nowadays, it's a strike, whether it's a closed fist or not. Hit Lachie Neale in the midriff. He went down for a few moments, but didn't come back as medium, came back as low in the grading, and as a result, he's free to play against Hawthorn.
You can, Lingy, you know this as well as I do. You can punch a bloke, and you can hit him with the
heel of your
thumb, and it can do. It's a serious. And hits you right in the midriff there. It takes the wind straight out of you. Look, I'm happy that he didn't get a week, but let's not kid ourselves. That was not low impact.
No.
And very out of character for a guy that you've seen Scotty Pendlebury play almost 400 games of footy, and we haven't seen that too often from him. But I think we all agree that's not the sort of thing we need in the game, is it? If that all of a sudden was a reportable offence, I think everyone would say, look, if it means that we're getting it out of the sport, we don't need that.
No. Like especially that when that player is unsuspecting.
And agreed. I thought they were going to crack down on ones like that and properly crack down. I mean,
they changed their mind. I reckon, I know this drives me nuts, but I reckon it depends on who it is. You just see too many inconsistencies with these type of things. And you're right, this was supposed to be cracked down on. It wasn't medium or low impact. No, it was quite medium impact.
Yes.
Second half is upon us. Coleman Jones with a suspected Achilles injury, unfortunately, stretched it off in the second term, so he's out of the game. North have kicked the last 2 goals. Carlton by 29 points. Third quarter's here. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. You're with Kelly Underwood.
Sherry slaps at it. Wardlaw slaps at it, and winning a free is the Blues in the skipper Patrick Cripps. Wardlaw, the man on the mark. Cripps, socks down, orange boots, pumps it long to Mackay, got hands to it, couldn't quite clasp them around the Sharon, but accepts the handball, fires out a handball. It was clever by Fogarty, who just slaps it on, and now it comes back to Fogarty. Hurried kick, almost juggled Mark down there by Core. He goes to ground, which means his player is loose. And then charging into Sheasel, it was almost a headbutt charge into the midriff of Sheasel, was Durden, and Durden's been awarded a free kick, and Sheasel cannot believe it, in the right forward pocket at the southern end.
Well, Kelly kept his head down and he ran with his head down. He ran straight back into
him, didn't he? Buried into his midriff. And Durden to add to the ruse pain to start this third term. He does just that. He buried into Sheasel and he buried the goal from the pocket. Durden's got 2. Carlton by 35. They've picked up from where they left off. 11-8-74, North Melbourne's 6-3-39.
So coaching under 10s, under 12s, under 14s, whatever it might be, you try and teach kids, don't put your head there. Turn your body, don't drive with your head. But then kids see that, watching their heroes, and they think, oh, cool, I can pick up the ball. That's a good way to get a free kick. I'll just drive with my head and get it. That we cannot reward that.
No. Well, I thought that was another one that they've looked at over the last 12 months or so and said, if you keep your head down, you run into someone.
Yep, they have.
You should forego prior opportunity.
You're gone.
And you should be gone holding.
Yeah, that's bad.
That was the wrong call.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, but it's cost a goal.
Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Carlton by 35, out of the middle. Carroll Sockers at wide, taken by Akers, hand pass to Cripps on the logo of the City wing. Handball forward to Carroll. His fellow Sandgroper kicks inside 50, but Dawson hitting up, takes the intercept mark.
Well done, Dawson. Yeah. Leading out Charlie Curnow, backed himself, took the grab.
Good mark too. Yeah. Really strong mark.
Mid-season draftee back in 2022, Callum Dawson. Out of Williamstown, he goes long up to the City wing. Fingertips to it from Akers. No mark. Spills out the back and running onto it. Davies Uniacke. Down by his standards in the first half. Kicks inside 50. Larkey leaps for it. No mark. Spills out the back. Curtis, the dribbler from the pocket, bounces it through. Nice transition from the Roos. Curtis cashes in. And Paul Curtis has got himself a third. Right forward pocket. 3 minutes into the third term. Carlton's lead back to 29. 11-8-74, North Melbourne 7-3-45. Mick Malthouse, Cameron Ling, Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
Started with the mark. Yeah. Started with that. For those people that aren't watching and listening to us, that ball went in pretty quickly into the Carlton forward line. Dawson ran onto the football, which was just above his head. So they're the ones that, if they're in your eyes, you're going to take it, going to hit you in the face. So just above your head is a hard mark to take. Took it, and then his positioning of his kick was perfect. So that was a very, very good play by North Melbourne. And Curtis's finish was excellent.
Ooh, gee, Curtis just keeps saying to North fans, stay patient.
Yeah.
You've got another good one there.
Davies Uniacke involved in that as well. He's only up to 11 disposals, but maybe a chat from the coach at half-time. He had 30 disposals last week. Here he is getting involved. He's tackling the Carlton player, and it wedges free, and Powell picks it up and powers away and kicks to Larkey in a one-on-one. Wiedering with the spoil. Still in play. Larkey slides in on it. He couldn't quite pick it up. Powell, the little handball to Curtis. He's caught. Under pressure, he handballs straight to the opposition. Akers with the sweeping handball out wide to Newman, who can link it over the top to Elijah Hollands. On debut for the Blues. Dropped it cold. Turnover here. Stevens for the Roos. Now it comes to Simpkin from within 50. He keeps it low and it's slapped over right on the goal line by Wiedering. And Wiedering might have hurt himself in that situation.
Well, the contest before, Cal, he was really sore and somehow got up to make that spoil.
Oh, that's a dangerous kick out. Turned over, straight to Powell. Makes the Blues pay. The clanger from McGovern. And Tom Powell cashes in. The old 7-point play for the Roos. They're still in this game. Carlton's lead cut to 22. 5 minutes into the third term. The Daggers 11-8-74. North Melbourne 8-4-52. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Tim Hodges on the boundary. Hodgie.
Oh, if you thought Jacob Wiedering was sore after that, then to watch the ball sail over his head. It was the contest before where he copped a knee right in. It was just the lower back or the top of the buttocks. It took him about 20 seconds to get to his feet. He then forced the ball through for that rush behind that led to McGovern turning the ball over in a goal. But he is incredibly sore out there, Jacob Wiedering.
So the Blues led by as much as 40 points. The margin is back to 22. Two goals to one in the Roos' favour. Early, we've gone in the third. Only not even 6 minutes. De Koning and Shering. De Koning at it with both hands. Gets it down. Nice little manoeuvre in the middle there, and a give off to Chera. Chera looking to deliver down to Curnow. He picks it up once it hits the deck. He's forced to handball. Fogarty, Hollands, De Koning, Hewitt lines up. Can't finish off this passage of play, and it goes over the boundary. Misses all the sticks. So it'll be a boundary throw in right at the teeth of goal here for the Roos.
Just a bit of communication there that would have been marked by North, and they could have run that football out. Just because of the youth, and I won't blame youth, but just stepping aside and letting a senior player take it.
Forward 50 stoppage for Carlton. Sherry wins the hit out. Fogarty had hands on it, can't collect. Elijah Hollands does. Hand pass goes back to Akers. Gee, impossible angle. Kicks goalward right to the goal face. Takes an unkind bounce. There's a hold. It's a free kick for Curnow. And he worried Core on the behind line. And in the end, Core's hanging on. And the umpire said, you can't do that.
I am sitting next to a bloke in the next commentary box who would have kicked 4,000 goals if they paid free kicks like this.
It's just too ticky-touch with it.
Curnow happy to receive it. Jams it through for his third. And him and Harry have 6 between them. And that number is still growing. 7 minutes into the third term, 12-8-80. The Blue Baggers, North Melbourne 8-4-52. Carlton by 28. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
That man sitting next to you, between the pane of glass, obviously, is there. What did he boot? 17-5 one day, I think, Jason Dunstall.
Yes, he did. Jason Dunstall is who we're talking about. But, when I think back to how much they had to, in talking marks, earn their marks, those guys, watching this, there are ones that are questionable at best.
Yeah, well, there's two goals, this third quarter, 2 goals by Carlton. To me, neither have been free kicks. And that one there's not a free kick. That is just
it's a tangle of 2 big players.
Oh yeah, just holding against each other. It's
so deflating for Roos fans because they work their butt off to get back involved, and it's a ticky touch with free. A couple of cheapy, easy goals for the Blues. Margin is now 28 points. Rebounds, a throw up in the middle as part of that. The kick came from Hewitt inside 50 and it landed on Curnow's chest. He just read it best. He controlled that drop zone, held them off with his arms and takes another mark inside 50. Oh no, Wardlaw's walks right between them. The man on the mark, Pink, who's had a shocking day. Well, a day he'd rather forget. And George Wardlaw, who's in all sorts of pain, has just run straight through between Pink and Curnow across the 50. Pinged for 50. Curnow in front. I'm going to put it down as a goal already. Number 4. An absolute calamity for the Roos. The young guns learning some tough AFL lessons. And back-to-back goals, and bang-bang, the Blues by 34 points. 13-8-86. North Melbourne 8-4-52. Nearly 9 minutes gone in the third.
Mick, this might be a conspiracy theory, but is there anything to a coach who knows his team's going to get well beaten, to leaving young players on there and say, well, our key defenders are only playing 11 games between them, and it's Mackay and Curnow, they're always going to kick a lot. Why isn't Aiden Corr playing on one of the big guys? Pink's gone from Harry Mackay and being torched to now Charlie Curnow and getting destroyed.
Yeah, I agree with you. There comes a time when you have to be accountable as a player that's got experience and take responsibility. There's no question.
Blues going forward again out the back. He's trying to hand it off to Durden. Caught in the tackle. Pink holding the ball. And well done, young McKercher in his third game rewarded. Colby McKercher's going to get it. Last line of defence.
Has he got no faith at all in Corr?
Yeah, that's what it sort of says, doesn't it?
Well, I was just wondering if you play Corr on him, then you should expect more.
Yeah.
He's probably still going to kick. They're probably still going to kick 10 or 12 between them.
Well, you don't want to just lay it out and just totally and utterly destroy the confidence of a young player.
Oh, he's gone right now.
Short to Powell long down the boundary line, and there's Zane Dersma, younger brother of Xavier Dersma, first year at the Roos, picked 4 in last year's draft. Takes a nice overhead mark, defensive side of the wing, kicks beyond it, Larkey goes up, no mark, hits the deck, there's Lazaro, hand pass to Davies Uniacke, he flares it off to Simpkin, the skipper heads inside 50, hands to it Stevenson, no mark, ball hits the deck, Stevenson has another go, he's gang tackled. Held up by Boyd and Akers, and we'll have a ball up, centre half forward for the Roos. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport, 11 minutes into the third, Carlton by 34.
De Koning just gets his hands to it, Carroll had it, he was stripped of it. Davies Uniacke picks it up with intent, fires out the handball to Powell, fired it out straight to Durden, giving it to the Blues. Cripps is off through the middle, kicks it to centre half forward, where Charlie Curnow has got McDonald for company and takes the mark in front of the shorter player. Delivers to Harry. Oh, Harry's been just about KO'd at the top of the goal square, but it doesn't matter because going in and picking it up and finishing it off for him was Fogarty. Owies it was, rather. Owies came in after Mackay flew in sideways right at the top of the goal square, and he almost had his feet taken out from under him, landed heavily, and Owies just buzzed past.
One thing with the ball in Curnow's hands, you know the ball's going to go 60 metres if he wants it to, and the distance he can carry that football or push that football means the backline players are always looking over their head.
George Wardlaw still on the bench for North Melbourne. We'll get down to Hodgie just a moment if he's got visibility on that. Carlton by 40 points, which is their equal game high. 12 minutes into the third term. Corbin Middlemass and Kelly Underwood, Tim Hodges on the boundary, Mick Moldhouse, Cameron Ling, your call team. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport, Blues by 40. Back in the middle, Davies Uniacke grabs it, tackled by Carroll, fights through the tackle, hand pass to Simpkin, he fumbled, his opposing skipper, Cripps got him, picks up the loose ball, Blues out downhill, hand pass to Chera, hits up Harry. Searching lead, and he leads quarter the footy here. He marks in that channel at right half forward. He'll kick from 40 out. Tim Hodges on the boundary. Hodgie.
It's a shame for North Melbourne. If Callum Coleman-Jones hadn't been already subbed out, I think George Wardlaw would be putting his hand up. We know that right cork that he had early in the game, in the opening minutes of the game. He's got a badly rolled left ankle. He's had the boot and sock off. He's had it strapped twice. He's in that much pain. So it's just, look at him trying. He's so lopsided trying to run around the boundary at the moment. He's in all sorts of pain.
Mackay dobs it. The two-headed monster for Carlton. They have 8 between them. 4 for Mackay, 4 for Curnow. And that right there is the gap in the game. 13 minutes into the third term. Carlton 15-8-98. North Melbourne 8-4-52. The Blues lead is 46. They have 8 goals, Mackay and Curnow.
Aiden Corr has been moved on to Harry Mackay, but nobody was stopping that one. No. And it was down here in front of us, Mick, where the tackle came, turnover, and immediately, as soon as that ball spilt from the tackle, there were 4 Carlton players around the contest, but exploding away on the attacking side, and they could not stop that one at all, and that's just a simple little training drill kick to Harry Mackay.
I had noticed too the transition of the North midfielders to go from offence to defence is very, very slow.
Big question now, which one's going to kick more? Charlie Curnow, Harry Mackay, 4 apiece, 9 minutes gone in this third term. Davies-Uniacke wins it out of the centre, gets it back to Powell. Short kick just goes the required distance to Simpkin. And he's taken an uncontested mark, 48 metres out. Now,
free kick off the ball.
It's been reversed. Something happened off the ball.
The Carlton ball.
Carlton player wants that last line of defence, but it was McGovern claiming it was his.
Yeah, no, it should always be wherever is furthest or closest towards the Carlton goal.
Which was Hewitt, who was the man on the mark for Simpkin. So Hewitt gives it to Sard. Sard, what about that delivery? It went 60 metres and it lands in the chest of Harry Mackay, who hits up his skipper Cripps, standing right on the arc. Wheels around, wedges the kick, pops it up, looking for but couldn't quite find Holland's going backwards. In the meantime, rushing by as Kennedy accepts the handball. Just a little casually misses as he strolls into goal, Kennedy. They are lining up the Blues. They've loosened up and they can smell a mauling under the closed roof here at Docklands. They lead by a game high, 47 points.
Fisher against his old mate. Goes long out towards half-back, looking for Larkey. No mark, falls down to Powell. He's played some good footy the last fortnight. Hand pass to Lazaro. Back to Powell, to Sheasel. Good transition for the Roos. Kicks in the middle of the ground. Simpkin crunch from Newman. There goes the ball. Zerha attacks it. Hand pass to centre-half forward. Curtis moves it on. Ford's got it. Gives it. Dersma. Looping hand pass to Stevenson, who pops it through. Brilliant. Nice run and carry from the young Roos. They've gone coast to coast with the handball game, and Stevenson can just walk it in.
Oh, hang on. What's happened here?
Hold the phone. There's been that goal's not going to count.
Oh.
It's against Core after dishing off the ball. He committed an illegal act. I think as he gave the handball, he had a high fend-off as he went to try and block the run of one of the defenders. So not only the goal doesn't count, there's now a 50 back the other way.
I reckon he was called for a throw, Corbs, on the handball forward.
Right.
I don't know.
Blues, regardless, going deep inside the forward 50. Curnow, the target call, bangs it away from him. The goal's denied. The Blues still lead by 47, 16 gone in the third.
Yes. That's a shame, isn't it? Because that's probably the goal of the year.
Yeah, fantastic, wasn't it? Needed commitment from a number of players, bodyline the ball, get it forward. The replay appears to look like Ford is being called for a throw. Oh, that is unlucky.
Well, there's patches, there's glimpses, Roos fans. And they're worth being here to see as Hollands has got it right up against the boundary line. Kicks it to the top of the goal square. The two Twin Towers absolutely leap. And now a try-hard soccer attempt was from Curnow before right on the line. The sub, Eddie Ford, is able to control it and just rush that through for a rush behind. So here go the Roos, setting up from the last line of defence. Can they create something again? They're exciting when they get it moving. It's just that these passages and glimpses of the future are quite rare. The Blues lead it by 48 points.
17 gone, third term. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Kelly Underwood, Corbin Middlemass, Tim Hodges on the boundary, Nick Moldhouse, Cameron Ling. Short kicking game. Here's Davies-Uniacke. Stagnant. It's about every player on that City wing, and Davies-Uniacke is just going to have to thump it long. The contest kick sails 60 metres, and Wiedering in front of the pack stands tall, takes the intercept mark. What a start it's been the first fortnight, even without Wiedering, without Walsh. And the two-time best and fairest winner goes back to Adam Sard. Sard, fourth year at his third club. Short to Newman. Looks straight down the pipe, and they're on. As Kennedy's up and marking, late contact from Zerha. Ump says it's a free kick. No 50 though. Probably had a good claim. As Kennedy comes out wide. Hewitt, he was off the chain again here. Collects, pokes it into the pocket. Not a good kick for Cripps over his head. And Sheasel takes the intercept mark, back pocket.
Poor old Patrick Cripps has run about 20 Ks, worn plenty of bumps, and he's forced to jump. He couldn't get off the ground. He's absolutely exhausted. So the Roos now in control. They're going to move it through the centre. Simpkin over the top. Here's a chance for Davies-Uniacke, who has really lifted in this third term. to Lazaro. Inside 50, Lucky. Nice passage of play. Wienering is furious with himself. Slaps the turf in disgust. He's beaten in a one-on-one. Just goes to show what sort of competitor he is.
It also shows how good Larky is.
Yep, and he's going to line up for his third.
Yeah, good play. North can't be embarrassed about this game. Some of the passages of play have been outstanding, really outstanding. It's a snapshot of the future with some of these kids.
So Nick Larky, 45-degree angle, only 25 metres out, casually on the approach and casually slots through his third for the afternoon. And they continue just to fight and claw, and that margin hovers around the 42 points. A lead to the Blues, 15-10, 100 North Melbourne, 9-4-58. Tim Hodges on the boundary.
Kelly, it gets no better for the Kangaroos. George Wardlaw, the rising star this week. We know he copped a right corky early in the game, a left ankle just before. He had 2 cracks at getting it restrapped. He was just trying to move and he just couldn't. They've taken him down to the room. So I think he was in so much pain, he's going to struggle to get back out there.
Yeah, Hodgie, there's nothing wrong with that, with a young player like that. It's no use exposing him to further injury. So with the bench, how many players, what are they, 35 on the bench these days, so I think they should be able to cope with it.
And I think too, though, as part of learning the resilience, get him to try to come back, and then, as you said, no need.
3 fit bodies left for North Melbourne on the pine as Powell hand pass away to Sheasel. His handball made it tough for Sherry. Did well to get it out from his ankles to Lazaro. Beats a couple. Gives it to Simpkin. Caught. Holding the ball.
Hand pass out. I thought he handballed too, Nick.
Chase down tackle from Akers rewarded. The Roos fans aren't happy. And Carroll ends up taking the mark at half-back. He gives it back to Akers. Short kick to Elijah Hollins on club debut. Dangerous back inboard. DeConey marks. Move it on at all costs. Away to Carroll. Spun around 360. Got a handball away to DeConey. His hand pass to McGovern. Gets it through to Akers. Blues still attacking. Over halfway. Away to Kennedy. His kick smothered by Corbett. He gets a second look at it. Hand pass to Akers. To Hewitt. Straight through the legs of Scott. To Elijah Hollins again. Akers floats a kick inside 50. It's a turnover and Sherry takes the intercept mark. Gee, it's a bit freewheeling and Harlem Globetrotters type stuff here in the third quarter. 21 minutes into the term, Carlton by 7 goals.
Good mark by Sherry as well. He continues to impress as the number 1 ruck for a tall man. He had to really bend down and get down low in that defensive 50. Flares it wide to Sheasel. He's just going to bomb it long down to the wing. Curtis in there. Had to beat 2 and he does. Bounces up like a cat. Gives the handball to Lazaro. Fires it out wide. Here's a chance for Stevenson. The former Swan, and they've coughed it up here. They've battled their heart out, these young Roos. But the Blues are all over them, and a big tackle applied in the end by Zach Williams gives it to the Blues. Now Sheasel with the spoil. Sheasel grabs it, and Sheasel kicks it straight down the throat of Zerha.
Oh, he'd want to kick this. He would want to kick this, Cam Zerha.
He's not bad at that, is he, Ken?
Oh, Nick Larky was wide open in the goal square with Jacob Wietering, 20 metres in front of him?
Yeah, and would have had to come back and spoil him head on. Yeah.
So Zerha kicked the first one this afternoon. Hasn't really been sighted that much since, and he misses. Larky actually marked it uncontested, but he was about 30 centimetres behind the goal line, so he had to give the Sharon back. Hasn't done that much this afternoon, Zerha. Is that his opportunities? Carlton by 41.
I think he wanted a nice Good Friday barbecue. He's cooked a few of his teammates. That's about it.
Yeah, he hasn't been given any Easter eggs yet, has he?
Free agent at the end of the year, Cam Zerha. As Williams goes short to Wietering, kicks long up the wing, hands to it from DeConey, no mark spills to Stevens, hand pass to Lazaro, his hand pass to Power, he fumbles, pack forms underneath Carroll, umpire says I'll have it, ball up, SMS, the Freo Cookster. G'day Corbs and team, coming at you from sunny Albany, just been for a dip at Middle Beach, now gearing up Freo on the Crows. Of course you can hear that here next. Double header, Good Friday footy on ABC Sport from the restart, Ford's tackled, got it to Lazaro, his hand pass is out of bounds. And also, my boys in Cal, Stan from Victoria, an observation for Lingy and Mick. Usually we hear the coach may need to do this and the coach may have to do that. Is Clarko off limits? Haven't heard anything like that so far.
Oh, I think he's done pretty well. We were talking about his key backs, though, for some time.
So this is a free kick for too high being awarded to the Roos. Zerha's got it. And that's the Bronx cheers from the Roos fans that have had a tough afternoon, haven't had the rub at the green. Zerha this time, unselfishly, top of the goal square, but it's all the defenders. McGovern had it, lost it, holding the ball not to be called. Chera loops it up. Great smother by Curtis. He's hungry. He's got it. He could create something for Curtis, but he couldn't quite squeeze it through. There's a free.
It's holding the ball just back a little bit.
Yep.
McGovern on Nick Larkey. Then Larkey floored McGovern, and that's what's caused this little bit of a to-do.
Yep, and Larkey's on the ground, one of the bigger men out there, and he's been dragged in all sorts of directions. Zerha's in there, no surprise, throwing his weight around, Wiedering, just pointing into the face of Larkey.
It was also a 50-metre penalty, so the ball's gone.
It is gone, and Cripps has got it.
Kicks inside 50. The target is Owies. No mark. Oh, Dawson spilled it into the lap of Owies, and Owies bends it through. It's all coming up, Carlton. And it has been a horror afternoon for the keybacks at North Melbourne. Inexperienced and outplayed. 16-10-106 Carlton. North Melbourne 9-5-59. They have been given a bath. 25 minutes into the third term. Carlton by 47. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Mick Moldhouse, Cameron Lee.
I just saw the replay of the tackle by McGovern. That is one of those moments where the ball just sits up a fraction too long and you are just sitting there, and McGovern nailed him. Perfect, beautiful tackle. Well executed, and then from there it was just frustration from Larkey.
Yeah.
Grabbed McGovern's jumper, ripped him down and drove him into the ground. Clear 50, undisciplined. He's just a very frustrated man, Mick.
Yeah.
Bubbled on for a while as well. They've only just really separated. 666 warning to the Roos. Throws it in the air. Sherry wins it straight down the throat of Uval Hagen. Oh, it's a free against Sherry in the ruck. Nothing's gone the Roos' way. These fans are irate. De Koning's got it. Drives it straight down the centre of the ground. Couldn't take it in the air. What about at ground level? Buzzing around those small forwards. Hacks out of there by the desperate defence. Zach Williams thumps it in the direction of Hollins. That's Elijah Hollins. Zach Williams gets it back to Elijah Hollins. Kicks it around his body, a high up and under. Curnow flew, unrealistic, goes to ground. Cripps with a clever little kick out in the area of Kennedy, under the pump, and Paul happy to come involved and paddle that over the boundary line.
The free kicks there, Kel. 15-25.
26-15.
Right, that's Carlton's way.
Yeah.
There is a bit of frustration with North Melbourne at the moment. I can understand why on a few of those.
And there's a free kick again, this time in the ruck, and it's going to the Roos, so Cherry.
We keep saying about Cherry how good he's been.
It's 15 all.
But I reckon De Koning's been really impressive. For a young ruckman.
In fact, the free kick's going to the former Blue in Zach Fisher. Didn't see what that was for, but they'll take this one. They'll take whatever they can get because the Roos trail by 47 points. He hits up with a short kick, pow. Still deep inside 50. The retreating kick back to Luke McDonald trying to set something up. Goes wide. And here's a chance for the youngster in Dawson. And they're going to go round the city wing.
This is Toby Pink. He's had a rough old afternoon with Mackay and Curnow up front. No Griffin Logue, obviously missing with that knee injury, and probably makes a lot of North fans realise how good Ben Mackay was for a long period of time. The free agent who left to join Essendon, missing obviously out of their defence this year as McKercher goes long down the wing. Wiedering pumps it back to centre half forward. A fumble from Durden. Loose footy, middle of Docklands. Fogarty, hand pass to Chera. Kicks Carlton inside 50, and there's Owies. Hugs it to his chest. Right half forward. He's calling for a lead. Wants Curnow. Hits him. Not 15. Play on the call. Curnow tries to arc around and bang it long. He's missed everything out on the full.
Well, if you talk about Clarkson not liking things, Carlton had 6 forwards running in. North Melbourne had 4 defenders. They picked the wrong mark there.
Awkward little half volley there for Callan Dawson, but he's able to gain it, and the short kick Up the line it goes. Darcy Tucker. And now to Jaden Stevenson. Kicked a goal this quarter, but then was denied. So still looking for his first goal of the afternoon. Stevenson goes around the city wing. Slips through the hands there of De Koning. Here's a chance for the Roos. Larkey was tackled. Davies Uniacke burst clear. It was almost a semi-little spin, and then all by themselves, sitting there, can he trap it? His Dersma. He's going to wheel around. He pumps the kick and really low, and able to get there is Eddie Ford. Ford's going to have a set shot. Tiny Shangle, only about 25 metres out.
Might have been a little low. I thought that was touched off the boot. See it again on replay. A little bit clear touch. He had to go on his right foot, Stevens. And
it was Stevens, yeah. Now he's coming from the ground. So Dylan Stevens, in fact, that hit him up. And Ford splits the middle. Eddie Ford is on the score sheet. He's got his first for North. 10-5-65. They trail the Blues 16-10-106. 2 minutes to go in this third turn. Tim Hodges.
Kel, with 2 minutes left, they are rolling the dice with George Wardlaw. He's been off for the best part of 20 minutes. He's been down to the rooms. He's had that left ankle strapped for a third time. They're just going to go out there and see what he can do. He's sore as hell. You can see he's walking around the middle and he's hobbly from the cork on his right-hand side and the ankle on his left-hand side, but they'll see what he can do.
Well, he does. He looks as sore as a boil, so you just wonder why he's out there.
Eddie Fort is singing along with the soundtrack that's being pumped out around Dockland Stadium. He's rocking the sideburns. Man who's come on as the sub. He's a big, confident young cat, the 21-year-old.
Little suede shoes there, Corby.
Yes, I don't mind it. Restart back in the middle. Sherry wins the hit out as he leaps into De Koning, looking for a free kick. There's not one forthcoming. Davies Uniacke grabs the footy, kicks inside 50. Marchbank puts his fist through it. Loose ball, centre half forward for the Roos. Stevenson, hand pass to Davies Uniacke. He kicks looking for Larkey. It's way out in front of him. Ford's giving chase with his sideburns and he's out of play.
That's one of those ones, 201 centimetre De Koning, when he lands like that. Oh, my heart went straight into my mouth. And many Carlton supporters would have been feeling it even more. That was an awkward landing, but he's okay. He's going to contest this ruck contest with Sherry.
Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. It's Carlton by 41 from the throw-in. Sherry got it down to Zerha, rather. And then the handball away to Davies Uniacke. He's pushed out of bounds, so a throw-in 50 metres out from the North Melbourne goal.
So Davies Uniacke had 11 at half-time. He's up to 21 in this third. Still a few minutes to play. 50 metres out from the Roos goal. Kennedy had it. Oh, he's tackled by Wardlaw. How gutsy is that? And he'll be rewarded. He's got a sore ankle. He's got a corky. And he's 70 out. And he's delivering, looking for a teammate. Ford's got it. Ford has marked directly in front, 25 metres out. George Wardlaw, take a bow.
It's amazing how good you feel when you get the footy in your hands. Wardlaw's running fine then.
A little push and shove. Behind play, Larkey involved, McGovern.
Larkey should just walk away from here because it'll be reversed if you don't watch out. He doesn't need to. He's a very good footballer, Larkey.
So Eddie Ford, as we mentioned, he started this game as the sub. Came on in that second quarter, a nasty injury to Callum Coleman-Jones. Looks like it's a snapped Achilles, ruptured Achilles. And Ford, who kicked the last one in this contest. For back-to-back goals for the Roos, back-to-back goals for Eddie, or Elvis, as he likes to be known. He's got two. North with 11, 11-5-71. Carlton 16-10-106. And they've done well, the Roos, to get it back to 35 points because the Blues early were loosening up. Looked like they were going to put their foot down. They led by 46 at one stage in this quarter.
Yeah, 5-6, 6 goals. On the face there, you're looking at Carlton. Got a couple of cheap ones. I reckon we've got a couple of cheap ones.
Yep.
North have fought back. They certainly haven't thrown in the towel. And the good thing about this is mainly their kids are the ones that have actually got them back from an embarrassment. Well, not embarrassment, because I think the word's going to get beaten. But
it could have
back
blown out.
It could have blown right out. Yeah, you're spot on.
And we said at half-time, Davies Uniac, players like that need to live because they're the experienced ones now, and he's done exactly that, like you said.
Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Out of the middle, Power first clean disposal, hand pass to Wardlaw, who's caught wrong-footed, goes back, collects, gives it to Power, who's drilled into tackle immediately by Akers. Blues all over it. Hewitt trying to stand up in the tackle. Ball comes out again. Power gets another go. He's tackled again by Hewitt. Just like a rolling maul at the moment as the Blues get it to centre half forward, and now we'll have a ball up.
Worst thing about that maul was Carlton had 3 players forward of the ball. North had 1.
13 ticks left on the clock before three-quarter time. As Wardlaw keeping it in front of him, trying to slap it out but in the wrong direction. Spills to Akers, can't clear the congestion. Elijah Hollins puts his head over it, and in the end, Sherry and Davies Uniac bang heads, 2 teammates. Sherry's got the helmet on, and it's the man without the helmet, Davies Uniac, who's come off a little worse for wear. There's a free kick here for Elijah Hollins. He's in the centre square, and this would take a hell of a kick.
Kick a barrel.
Going to have it anyway. And Davies Uniac gets up fuming at the umpire, but I'm not sure he's aware that what that got him in the head was actually his own ruckman. And Elijah Hollins on club debut, former Gold Coast Sun. Has to try and kick a taunt. He got hold of it. It gets to the top of the goal square, but that's as far as it travelled. It was about a 65-metre taunt. And in the end, landed 15 short of the goal line. It's three-quarter time in the Good Friday Super Clash. What a game it's been now in the 7th edition, raising almost $2 million in its time in this fixture alone for the Royal Children's Hospital. And at three-quarter time, it's Carlton who lead it by 35 points. The Blues 16-10-106, North Melbourne 11-5-71. The goal kickers, well, Mackay and Curnow have 8-4 each. So 4 goals each from Mackay and Curnow, 2 for Corey Durden and 2 for Matt Owies, and then singles for Chera, Akers, Carroll and Hewitt. While for North Melbourne, 3 goals for Curtis and Larkey, 2 for Eddie Ford, the sub, 1 for Powell, Lazaro and Zerha. An ankle concern for George Wardlaw, also copped a corky earlier in the game, but he is playing and finished the quarter on the ground. Not so fortunate, Callum Coleman-Jones stretched it off with a suspected Achilles tear in the second quarter. Coming up, we'll see what's happening over in Perth. That's our next stop, this doubleheader on Good Friday with Fremantle up against Adelaide and the thoughts of Mick Malthouse and Cameron Ling. All of that on the way. This is Good Friday Footy on ABC Sport.
Time for the family road trip.
98.
The big prawn.
Yes. 99.
The big mosquito.
It's a real one. And 100.
Easy.
The big Listen app.
Of course.
The ABC Listen app has a big array of road trip ready podcasts, radio, audiobooks, music and sport. Something for everyone.
I guess it has to be big to fit in all those podcasts.
For a big selection of audio entertainment.
Really, Dad?
Listen big. Download the free ABC Listen app today.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Inside 50, Larkey leaps for it, no mark. Spills out the back, Curtis, the dribbler from the pocket, bounces it through. Nice transition from the Roos. Curtis cashes in, and Paul Curtis has got himself a third. Oh, that's a dangerous kick out. Turned over, straight to Powell, makes the Blues pay. The clanger from McGovern, and Tom Powell cashes in. They're still in this game. Carlton's lead cut to 22. Hand pass goes back to Akers. Gee, impossible angle. Kicks goalward right to the goal face. Takes an unkind bounce. There's a hold. It's a free kick for Curnow. Curnow jams it through for his third. Hand pass to Simpkin. He fumbled. His opposing skipper, Cripps, got him. Picks up the loose ball. Blues out downhill. Hand pass to Chera. Hits up Harry. Searching lead. And he leads quarter to footy here. Mackay Dobson. The two-headed monster for Carlton. They have 8 between them. And that right there is the gap in the game. Hits inside 50. The target is Owies. No mark. Oh, Dawson spilled it into the lap of Owies. And Owies bends it through. It's all coming up, Carlton. And it has been a horror afternoon for the Keybacks at North Melbourne.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Carlton by 35 at three-quarter time. It is the first leg of a double-header. Coming up next, Friday night footy at Perth Stadium. It is Fremantle and Adelaide. Clint Wilden heading up the call. Clint.
Corbin, Freo at home on a Friday. How novel. And there's been a few chapters written this week on Adelaide's woes at 0-2. They're too slow in the midfield, apparently. Unable to find a Crows forward with their forays inside attacking 50. And should they have extended coach Matthew Nix's contract for 2 more seasons? No doubt he and the Crows will be under more pressure if they lose today and go 3-0 on the negative side. The positive, a 250th for Brodie Smith, the 10th Crow to reach that milestone. Fremantle, on the other hand, if they win, they'll go 3-0 for just the 3rd time in their history. And in 2010 and 2015, when the Dockers did that, they played finals. Big one coming up in the West. Fremantle and Adelaide, Corbin. Cracking day. Can't wait for it.
Thanks, Clint. Look forward to all of that. So our next stop on ABC Sport. To the boundary line here, 3/4 time, Carlton by 35 points. Tim Hodges. Hodgie.
Corbin, I'm not sure whether Corey Durden knows this, but we've seen the paperwork just be processed, and Corey Durden is coming out of this game, Orazio Fantasia, like for like, to get a run for the last half hour in the final term. So Fantasia into this game for the 4th quarter. Just repeating the big news down here. Unfortunately, Callum Coleman-Jones from North Melbourne, a ruptured Achilles. So just horrible news for him. Injury-prone big man, and he's looking at another 12 months on the sidelines, which was, just compounding the problems for North Melbourne today.
Thanks, Hodgie. The Blues have won every quarter so far. They're 35 points up at 3/4 time. Mick Moldhouse and Cameron Ling, Good Friday Footy on ABC Sport.
Mick, you and I often talk about building a premiership team, how you go about and you create those winning habits, you create those good habits, and the sort of habits that are going to stand up in finals. I want to see the Blues go and absolutely smash North Melbourne in this last quarter. Just almost that statement and teaching of ruthlessness of, I know the scoreboard's fine, we're better than them, everything like that. I want to see them power away from the Kangaroos.
But in doing that, though, Lingy, from football's point of view, I'd like to see North Melbourne fight back. But from a football point of view, I want to see the tackle count up.
Yep. Yeah, done in the right way.
Yes. And sharing the ball. Having the back line set up properly. When the ball goes in the forward line, not everyone wanting to kick the goal. Do the right thing. Play, get your DNA the way you want it. Yep, totally agree. If they're going to be a good football side, which they are, they've got to be consistent.
Good Friday Footy on ABC Sport. Out of the middle, Sherry wins the hit out, the first of the final term, down to Powell. Tumbles a kick inside 50 for North, but Newman's there. Hand pass to Wiedering. He kicks wide, too wide. Out on the full. The Good Friday Super Clash now in its 7th season. North Melbourne have a 1-5 record in this game, about to go 1-6 if they can't do something dramatic here. Their only win came against St Kilda back in 2018, but another really good roll-up with Carlton's assistance as the kick inside the forward 50 for the Roos. Hands to it from Sherry, no mark. Saab bangs a kick out of the defensive 50, picked up by Kennedy. He's tackled, ball spills out of bounds, and McKercher can't keep it alive. So a boundary throw in. Last year there was a 49,062 in. Another good roll-up here. The other sort of best crowd that they've had across the journey in the previous 6 matches was when Essendon played in the game, upwards of 48,000. So nice that North have a marquee fixture, but obviously getting one of the power clubs to help with the roll-up.
Spinning ball back into play right in front of us. Cherry thumps at about 20 metres, but there's a tackle applied. Wardlaw got to the footy first, and he's tackled by Chera. Tossed up, half forward here. Zerha. Clever handball to Davies-Uniacke. Back to Zerha. And he's run out of bounds. Surely, umpire.
They got it this time.
Tackled over the boundary line. And they got it right.
Yes, Jack Higgins would have kicked a goal from there.
Well, he was in a different suburb.
We just had one off the SMS. Larkey in trouble for the tackle and dumping of McGovern. So he was tackled to the ground and then he ripped McGovern to the ground. I'll get Mick's thoughts in just a moment, who's seen the replay.
Boundary throw in. Deep inside 50 here for the Roos. Powell tries to toe poke it. Simpkin spills his way in a little bit of space and he curves it around, but not enough. The snap across his shoulder. He didn't have enough sharpness on it. And misses to the left. Carlton by 34. Is there a ruthless Carlton in this final term? Will they well and truly put the foot down?
Out of the kick out, Akers goes short to Chera. What do you think, Mick?
I've had a look. Well, when I first saw it, I was thinking, that's not a good look, because that's what they hate, is when you slam a player into the ground and he hits his head, and he slammed him into the ground and he hit his head. So I wouldn't be one bit surprised if he's in a bit of bother.
Chera long down the wing. Sheasel coughs it up by hand. Picked up by Curnow. High half forward. Hand pass to Carroll. Handball to Hewitt. Kicks inside 50. Owies takes the mark. Turns. Moves it on. Collected. Owies now will have a look. Snaps it through. Fantasia with the delivery. Matt Owies with the finish. And Carlton are back out by 40 points. 3 gone in the final term. Carlton 17-10-112. North Melbourne 11-6-72. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Just to describe that a little better. So Larkey's lying on his back. And he's just been tackled by McGovern, and he grabs McGovern front on, so lying down.
By the jump up.
And pulls him straight down into the ground, of which McGovern then hits his head on the turf.
Yes.
So McGovern was standing up, and he was pulled down by Larkey into the ground.
Yeah, so how do they interpret that? If that had been in general play and he had the football, it would have been a tackle that would have warranted a free kick and perhaps been looked at.
And you'd call that almost prohibitive contact, isn't it? Because McGovern's not expecting...
No, he's not.
The play's effectively dead because he's been paid a free kick. He's not expecting to brace for contact. His head hits the ground.
Running out of big men, but Cherry has been good. Taking it out of the ruck, giving it to Powell, whose kick finds the opposition in Acres. Flares it wide. It's an interesting looking kick. Can Cripps keep it in play in front of the interchange gates? No, it hits him on the head and dribbles over the boundary line. And the Roos, who are down on key defenders as well, play the Brisbane Lions at Norwood Oval in suburban Adelaide next Friday.
And just go back to that goal that Carlton kicked. They had 6 in the 50-metre line. North Melbourne had 3. They were... It's almost like they gave up on that play, North, and that would be really concerning.
Carlton by 40 points, early stages of the final term. Davies Uniac, hemmed in against the boundary line, just kicks it towards the goal. Oh, 2 Kangaroos players, friendly fire in the air. Curtis continues to run on, and Saad has put his hand up straight away to say, my teammate is in a lot of trouble. Is it Marchbank?
It is. It was Boyd on Marchbank, so Boyd went up to spoil, coming back with the flight, crashed into his own mate Marchbank, and Marchbank is seeing stars.
So Marchbank with his eyes on the footy. Boyd went back and absolutely crashed
and
into
Boyd
him.
Landed on him. If you see here the spoil, and then
he's hit into his head.
Yeah, yep. He'll come straight from the ground. Very groggy. Hate seeing that. And you love the intent from Boyd because he's trying to help a teammate, but he almost went blindly and just took out his teammate.
He's got in the hands of both trainers, but he is talking to them, pointing to his face, sort of trying to explain to them what happened. Just walking at a very slow pace, but there will definitely be a concussion test after that heavy hit.
First game back for Marchbank too, had a viral illness in the pre-season, so hasn't played since last year's prelim.
I know I'm just floating this and we don't like rules on the run, but let's just pretend for a second Corey Durden's a tactical sub. Do you think if and the tactical sub's been made, so he's not injured, if someone goes off concussed, should they be allowed to bring Durden back on? For concussion only, not an injury, concussion only.
Okay.
Anyway, just something to think about.
So you'd have to fail a concussion test to get the sub back. Yeah, I don't mind it. Rush behind after all that from the stoppage, so Carlton get a chance to reload as McGovern kicks wide to Williams, who marks at half back. Carlton by 39 points.
Core got a free kick for Shepherd off the ball.
Right, so we got a turnover. North with the footy, so Core to get it. Carlton by 39. North are going back inside their 50, 6 minutes into the final term. Kicks into the pocket. There's McGovern over the back, punches it away, and it's out of bounds. Half forward for North Melbourne. Tim Hodges on the boundary.
Corbin, probably no surprise. Caleb Marchbank taken with an official either side of him straight down to the room. So I imagine a HIA for him, and I doubt you'll see him for the rest of this game straight down to the Carlton rooms.
Carlton by 16 at quarter time, 29 at the half, 35 at three-quarter time. Early stages of this final term, it's 39 points. As Scott breaks clear, right on the 50, bombs it long, top of the goal square, and then it's off hands, Wiedering and Larkey. It's been an interesting matchup. Larkey's kicked the 3 goals this afternoon, Wiedering in his first outing for the season. It's the Blues by 38.
McGovern with the kick out to Sard and short to Acres.
That kick really was a nothing kick by North Melbourne.
Yeah, Scott, wasn't it?
Scott, and there's no leading up to him, admittedly, but nonetheless, it was always going to be killed in the air.
Akers to the contest on the wing. Core wins it though. Hand pass to McKercher to Sheasel. This generation next for the Rouge. Short to Scott. Son of Robert Scott, who played in 4 grand finals, won a premiership with North Melbourne in 96. And son Bailey there goes short to McDonald. Kicks long into the pocket and Wiedering puts his fist through it, knocks it out of bounds. What a player he's been for a long time, Jacob Wiedering. Cameron Ling could never find an All-Australian blazer for him. Now he's off the panel. It's going to be up to someone else, Lingy, to give him his first blazer at some stage.
Hasn't he got one yet?
Hasn't got one.
Wow. I must have been outvoted, Corbs.
It's been a good career for a lot of nominations, but never in the final 22.
Deep in the attacking end here for the Roos. Paul Curtis has battled his heart out all afternoon in that small forward role. It's always a tricky position.
I think I went 3 years over my mandated time on there, and they just kept asking me to come back, and I finally got myself off there.
The Roos clearing it out of the defensive 50. Boyd hits up Harry Mackay. He's running so hard he had to drop to Sharon and jump up onto the fence. But the Blues fans gave him a little pat on the back. And then he delivers backwards to Boyd.
I can't imagine anyone ever says, gee, well done for getting him in over the years. It's always the guys that are left out.
There's only so much gentle feedback you can take at the end of the season.
Mackay and Cripps in the marking contest right in front of the Roos bench, but defensively the Roos do well. Sheasel, Davies Uniac brought to the turf by Kennedy, forces the turnover. Quick hands out to Cripps, in space, 70 out from goal. Where's the Twin Towers? Doing it. Oh, was that a push in the back? Yeah, it'll be a free kick to Dylan Stevens. There's a couple of Blues players were running into an open goal. One of them was Cottrell. But it'll come back because free was against.
It's happening too many times, Cal.
Fantasia.
Carlton players running into goal and North players trailing them in.
Oh, Cole spills a mark he should have taken, put McDonald under the pump, gets a hand pass away to Stevenson, and the Roos work it over halfway. Short kick to Larkey. It's involved in that unusual moment in the front-on tackle of McGovern earlier in the third term as he heads wide to Curtis, and Curtis puts it out on the full. Rachel from Ballarat, the Roos will bother a lot of teams this year. Future's looking bright. Thanks, Rachel. There's the Blues trying to move it straight down the corridor. Alistair off the SMS. Good afternoon, team. Long-time Carlton fan listening from Switzerland. North Melbourne seems to be playing much like Carlton did about 4 years ago. Tell the Roos fans to be patient. Thanks, Alistair. Appreciate that. As the Blues get it up to halfway, Mackay hits up, takes a mark. Here's Elijah Hollands, who marks on the logo of the City wing. First game for his new team, lining up alongside little brother Ollie. And kicks wide to Hewitt. Marks at half forward, 55 out. 0437 774 774 the SMS. Hewitt just kicks it short to Mackay. He marks 2 steps inside the 50 out wide, and I think he's considering having a look.
Yeah, need 2 more goals from them because I predicted 10. Only on 8.
Left foot. This is fair going for him here.
He's going to put it on the ground. So this is part of his new routine. So he can't play on. Said he rushed too many trying to snap last year and had struggled in front of the sticks. So places the ball on the ground. Now starts his approach. 51 metres out. Kicks it right to the goal line. Leaping up to Coney. Can't mark. It spills to Cripps. Cripps snaps it through. And all the Carlton stars involved, they're going to check whether it was touched on the way through, but Paddy Cripps likes it. And Carlton continue to pull away early in this final term. And the soft signal is going to be a goal as they walk back to the middle. It'll put Carlton 44 points up as they check to see whether his good mate Fisher got a fingertip on it.
It's close.
It's very close. Looks like there is a little bit of daylight between the fingertip and the ball. And in fact, I think that's a bit of the 2D image of the 3D world. There's a space there as we get the other angle between the fingertips of Fisher and Cripps. So there's no way Fisher's touched it. There we go. Gap between the ball and the defender's hands. It's a goal. Paddy Cripps is on the scoreboard. A Brownlow medalist from a season ago. Carlton by 44 points. They moved to 18-10, 118. North Melbourne 11-8-74. 44 points. Carlton's lead, 12 gone, final turn. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Nick Oldhouse, Cameron Ling.
Lingy, I reckon we're going back to the future in regards to big scores from a side like Carlton. When you've got the the two recognised key forwards, and then there's other players just chipping in and around it. It does spell another 100 plus week in, week out. And I know Geelong were like that a couple of years ago, but this looks like this is telling us they'll get the ball in there and they've got the quality to kick goals.
If you're going to win a flag, you need to be able to kick 100 plus points at least 10 plus times
at least.
For the season. You look at last year's results, all the top 4 teams were that 10 plus 100 point scores.
Mackay's into the ruck. He wins a free kick in his tussle against Larkey. Cripps plays on, gives it to Mackay, streaming forward. Where's his partner in crime? There he is. Oh, he drops an absolute sitter. He worked his way beautifully into that contest, got rid of his man, and dropped it cold right in front of his eyes, did Charlie Curnow.
Oh, he would not be happy with himself. He did it all.
His eyes lit up early, didn't they, Lingy? Anyway, and that's a Shepherd pushing out a free kick in the ruck against Larkey. It's a tough, frustrating afternoon. Free kick to Harry Mackay. 45-degree angle.
I can't see the free kick.
20 metres out.
I cannot see the free kick.
He's going through his routine, Harry. This is for number 5, which would make it 9 between the two big players. 12 minutes still to go. Harry's got a handful. And he's been a handful for the Roos this afternoon. No Good Friday for them. Carlton by 50 points. Biggest lead of the afternoon, 19-10, 124. North Melbourne, 11-8, 74. And they have really loosened up now and smell a mauling.
The only one with that, Nick, so that contest, so Nick Larkey
took his line,
blocks out Mackay, takes his line, which you're entitled to do as a ruckman to protect the drop of the ball. But the next motion's the important one, where he's then got to come at the ball and contest it. He can't just block.
Yeah, it's true.
So I reckon the umpire thinks you've laid a shepherd, you protected space, that's fine. But if you just continue to do that and don't come at the ball, I'm going to pin you for a shepherd. And I reckon that's what he's done. It's still pretty unlucky from Nick Larkey, but there's been a lot of them today. I think
a lot.
Carlton forwards have said thank you very much a few times.
Carlton plus 10 on the free kick count, 29-19. Back in the middle, Sherry and Hewitt both bang bodies. Sherry wins the footy, hand pass to Power, kicks into space on the city wing for North. Bouncing footy, Ollie Hollands, first one there. The youngest Carlton player out there trying to hit up Cottrell on the lead. There's going to be a free kick. It's a downfield free, I think, after Hollands was met after disposing of the footy. So Cottrell takes it, goes short to Elijah Hollands between wing and half forward. On club debut today, kicks inside 50. There's Pink. Takes the intercept mark.
Well done. He's had a tough day. That's a good, courageous mark.
Hand pass to Fisher. Long kick out to half-back. And Zane Dersma takes the mark on the back flank. Both the Dersma boys back in Victoria. Zane, first year in the big time with North. And brother Xavier now at the Bombers. Goes long down the line. And in the end, Newman just knocks it out of play. So a boundary throwing next to the interchange gates. Carlton by 50 points. 15 minutes into the final term. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. There's another game still to come. Fremantle and Adelaide next.
Don't forget Sister Dersma.
Of course.
Still at Port Adelaide, I think.
So not all of them back in Victoria.
No.
Yes. One of the siblings still away.
Good player as well. 50-point lead to the Blues. And here they go again, rushing forward. Newman, the all-important kick inside 50. Kennedy flew at it. Firing the hand out was Fogarty. Oh no, Elijah Hollands hadn't it turned it in to pick it up. And when he went back for the third time, sliding in and taking his legs out under him illegally and winning a free kick.
That is what the rule was designed.
Right. Poor old Zach Fisher.
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
He dived. So Elijah Hollands thought, here's my big moment. Went in, missed it, went back to get it, and Zach Fisher slid in. Took his legs out.
Fortunately, Hollands jumped a little bit. That could have broken his leg.
Yeah.
That's a great. That's a good decision. It's a great rule.
They're the ones that's got to be paid for. You're right.
Get ready, Hollands family. They live out their childhood dream. From brothers in the backyard, Elijah and Ollie, to teammates in the AFL. And one of the first in to celebrate with big brother Elijah was little brother Ollie. On debut, He's got his goal, and Carlton by 56. 20-10, 130. North Melbourne 11-8-74. And these patient Roos fans are now starting to get up, move to the aisles and exit the arena.
Got to start eyeing off a couple of hot cross buns at home. Ooh. Maybe just a bit of a debrief at home. They've been patient enough. There's signs here for the Kangaroos. There's certainly signs, and there's some terrific young players. But again, when the opposition's kicked 130 points against you, it's hard to stay entirely positive, I would imagine.
Yeah. Big smiles on the Hollands family faces, and Ollie ran in actually pretending to take a photo with his hands towards brother Elijah, who had just kicked his first goal for his new team. Nice moment for Carlton fans. 56 points their lead. Centre break for the Roos, though, as the captain Simpkin kicks inside 50. McGovern leaping over the back takes an intercept mark for Carlton.
He's done the Son celebration, has he, at Tottenham?
Is that what he does?
Yeah, the captain for Ange Postecoglou.
There's my big blind spot, Cal, the Round Ball World game. But you've been inside the Tottenham camp, so you can help us out there as Fantasia turns it over cold at centre half back. Bounding away, Wardlaw drives through the goal.
Great goal.
There's an intercept major for George Wardlaw. Twice nominated as the rising star. And everyone that's been around footy can see it. Just what he's capable of. His first of the day. North Melbourne get it back to 50 points. 20-10, 130 Carlton. North Melbourne 12-8, 80. 19 gone in the final term. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Cameron Ling, Nick Moldhouse.
And just watching the way he's run out this game, Mick, I think a good little lesson for a really, really young player, really high-quality young player, that around sometimes that resilience that is needed throughout a game.
Yeah.
You get a nasty corky early on, it doesn't mean your day is finished and you can't contribute.
And he hurts his ankle as well.
Yeah. You've got to somehow, occasionally, just fight through and think, okay, this isn't going to be one of those beautiful days where I run around and hardly get hit at all and I get 35 touches. This is just going to be a nasty day, but he's fought it out and he finished with a nice goal there.
And the Carlton AFLW captain's husband sent me a sneaky text to let me know that Yaz Dersma is now at Carlton. So
all in Victoria.
I missed that news in the off-season. So they are all in Victoria, and there's another one coming through. Bottom under 18s this year is a gun. Younger brother Willem. Talented Dersma family. Harry Mackay. They're now like a cat with a mouse, just toying with this North Melbourne side, although rising high there. Not paid the mark was Sherry. Thought he should have taken it inside the defensive 50. Still time for more goals here to come for the Blues. Oh, that's a big bump going in low. Really tough was Zach Williams. Blues have got the ball as a result of that little hip and shoulder. And the inside 50 kick couldn't hit up a teammate. In the meantime, Charlie Curnow is looking a little proppy as he hobbles off from the ground. So I'm keeping an eye on Charlie Curnow. We'll get down to Hodgie very soon, Corbin. You keep an eye on the Sharon.
This is Davies Uniacke in a slow play at half-back. Kicks North Melbourne down the wing. And Kennedy, good body work. Edges Zerha underneath the footy, takes the mark. A nice story with Xander Maguire, actually, on Channel 9 last night. About Catholic, Matt Kennedy, and said how unusual that is for doesn't have a lot of mates, particularly in the AFL system or around his age, that are practicing and very devout in their religion. But says he's particularly since moving to Melbourne, he's been able to pick that up again and goes to church every Sunday out in Glen Iris and shares it with Wiedering, who kicks it down the wing, and Kellen Dawson intercepts for North Melbourne, gives it to Tucker, away to Stevenson, short kick to Zerha. Zerha has the footy forward of the wing. Goes out wide, trying to find Larkey, leaps up, hands to it, no mark, spills it out of play.
Going to get a free kick though,
yeah,
finally.
Got taken down.
Free kick for Larkey, left half forward. Tim Hodges on the boundary.
This will make Michael Voss sick. Charlie Curnow sitting next to him. The right sock is off, the right boot is off. He's having treatment on that right ankle. As soon as he went over, he knew he was in trouble and he came straight to the bench, so very sore.
Larkey to Sheasel, he lays it up, top of the goal square. Sherry hands to it, no mark, ball hits the deck, pack forms. 20 out from the North Melbourne goal, and we're going to have a ball up.
And the crowd has just been posted, Corbin, 47,565. So that is a massive crowd under the closed roof here at Docklands this afternoon. Humid conditions. And we've had 32 goals kicked. It's been quite a shootout in that sense. Most of them. Oh, what about that for a little jump? Fantastic by Hollands. Went up the back of Davies Uniacke. and pulled in a little ripper.
Yeah, if he hadn't taken it, it would have been... it would have been a free kick, but that's a one-handed mark.
What a debut for Carlton. The older brother, Elijah Hollands, kicked his first goal for the Navy Blue a few moments ago.
I just saw the replay of the Charlie Curnow thing. He was running along with Toby Pink, sort of ran into Sherry, a bit awkward, and just almost a traditional roll of the ankle as he was just off balance.
50-50 ball in the centre of the ground now. 7 minutes to play in this contest. Blues looking to line up for another goal. And that's exactly what they do, as Elijah Hollands, who's racking up the possessions in this final term, is able to heat up his teammate Chera. He's going back inside that centre square to have a shot from centre half forward. Hodgie, what's the latest on Charlie Curnow?
I thought they might have given him the rest of the game off, but they're trying to have a go at strapping that ankle, especially with Caleb Marchbank down in the rooms at his concussion with Marchbank, so he hasn't returned. So I think they are keen to get Curnow back.
So Chera hangs it out to the right, and it misses everything. It's out of bounds on the full.
I understand that down on the bench increases the loads of other players, but with 6 minutes 22 to go on the clock,
why?
Charlie Curnow, just pop the feet up, mate.
Carlton,
you're done.
Carlton wide. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Blues by 50. They're trying to win it back on the wing here. Boyd goes to Wayne Harms and just knocks it away to Wiedering. Bounces a kick down towards Newman. Elijah Hollands waiting for a clean hand pass. Newman was set upon. Picked up by Stevenson. He runs straight into trouble. Caught. Newman lays the tackle front on. Carlton win it back, defensive side of the wing.
Charlie Curnow on the bench with 4 goals to his name. Lingy, you tip 10 between them. It means that Mackay has to get one more.
One more. He's got 5. Charlie 4. Yep, we need a sixer from...
And there's 5 minutes to play.
Blue Daggers by 50. Can it be on this forward thrust? As Carroll looks in the middle of the ground for Chera. As Cal mentioned, all off to Adelaide next week. So North Melbourne Friday evening, the game against Brisbane at Norwood. The shift continues to the wing from McGovern. Kicks inside 50. Cripps lets up, no mark. Spills down to McDonald. Hand pass away to Core, and he gives it to Stevens. Peeling off halfback. Kicks the Roos down the wing and will find Larkey, who marks the broadcast wing in front of the interchange gates. Blues by 50 points.
Got no one to kick to. There's no one inside 50. Dersma tracks back. Gets to half forward. Marks uncontested in front of Wiedering. Cuts back inboard. This is Stevens. Wants to go on his left. Can he find a target inside 50? Hollands backs back bravely. Will win the free because he was taken high. Elijah again, having quite an impressive final term. Goes to City side. Works its way up to Owies. Over the top is Fantasia in space. He's got a paddock. He has a bounce. He draws the defender. He gives it off to Ollie Hollands, who kicks it back to Fantasia. And Fantasia says, you know what, I'm a step or two inside the boundary line, but I'm within range. I'm going to back myself here.
He had Harry right there. I needed him to give it to him, get his 6th.
Instead, Horacio Fantasia says, I want my first one for the Blues.
Come on as the sub. I want to get involved in this game.
141 career goals, stints at Essendon and Port Adelaide. His 3rd AFL club. He's only played 4 games in the last 2 seasons. Injury-riddled couple of years. Fresh start for Fantasia. Really tough angle to the northern end. Fresh start. First goal for the Blues. And Blues fans still have plenty to cheer about, even though the margin is 56 points. 21-10-136. North 12-8-80 with 4 minutes to go in this contest.
It stopped being a contest a while ago, unfortunately, for the Kangaroos. But I suppose the Blues have kicked 136 points, Mick. I can't be too critical of them. It's just at times now they're playing. It's pretty easy. You've already mentioned it a number of times. Carlton have gone forward and they've had 5 or 6 players arriving there, Carlton forwards, against 3 or maybe 4 North Melbourne defenders.
So where are they? I'm not talking about even the defence. It's where the midfielders. They've just fallen off, Lingy. You know as well as I do, the midfield have got to work hard. And if you can't work hard, get off the ground. Let that rotation. You've got to get numbers up through there.
And Lingy, you said you wanted them to put their foot down. Well, they've, 5 goals to 1 in this final term. They've well and truly done that, the Blues.
56 points, a lead for Carlton as Cherry gets a hand pass out of the centre square to Hewitt, links up with Raz. Fantasia kicks deep inside the forward 50. Pink and Mackay both there. Pink spoils close to the boundary line. Dawson keeps it alive for the Roos. Hand pass away to McKercher, pulls the kick back inboard, Power the target. Can't complete the mark, hits the deck. Sheezel puts his head over it. Trying to wrestle it from him. Hewitt, ball spits out. Wardlaw has it. He's tackled, holding the ball. Tried to fight the tackle, said the umpire.
And he's trying to do things. When he gets, another 2 or 3 pre-seasons under his belt, he'll break that tackle.
Elijah Hollands is going to get the kick. He's already kicked 1 in this final term. First game for his new club after starting his career with the Gold Coast. Played 13 games up there over a couple of years. Originally taken pick 7 in the draft. Very good kick. Out on the mark is right on the 50. Hollands from right half forward. In the end, he's just going to lay it up. Cripps is in the pack, hands to it. No mark. Top of the goal square. Ball hits the deck. Mackay crashes through. Can't take it clean. Pack forms and we'll have the ball up. Shout out to Ollie and Olivia, some Roos fans enjoying the call from Coffin Bay National Park in South Australia. They've included a photo of kangaroos sitting next to the radio. It's a nice way to experience the footy from the restart. Elwies is tackled and dispossessed. It's holding the ball.
Probably a couple of oysters in hand, bottle of champagne, Coffin Bay.
And from John in Bacchus Mast, g'day team. Loving the call as always. Been in the garden all day planting the winter crop of veggies. Now for homemade pizzas and game 2 on Good Friday. From John, you can hear it all here on ABC Sport. Fremantle and Adelaide next.
In Bacchus Marsh, John, I'm going to pop in on the way home, I think. It sounds very nice.
You'd take any detour from the food, Lingy. You got all those eggs stashed under your chair still. Here goes hard. They wanted more goals, the Blues. 2 minutes and a bit to play. Lingy picked 10 between Curnow and Mackay. Curno's off with just a sore ankle at this stage. He's kicked 4. Mackay's got 5. Lingy wants him to get 1 more before that final siren sounds. Carlton by 56 points. Boundary throw in deep inside 50 to Coney. Flicks it behind his head. Zach Fisher's there. Handball to Koning. Slaps it down. Oh, he's on the outside of the boot. It's going to land in. Mackay's there. Can't get his big toe to it. It's scrambled over by Pink and a couple of other Roos defenders.
This wasn't what he had in mind when he heard about the Pink concert at Dockland Stadium, and he's had to match up with Curnow and Mackay, and they've got 9 between them. Toby Pink.
Well, she does have a song called Try, and he has tried all day.
You can't knock him for that. 4 years after being delisted by Sydney, gets his second crack at it at AFL level. As the ball ends up on the wing, De Koning, hand pass close to the boundary line. Davies Uniacke, the 1-2 with Zerha. So the Blues on Saturday, as we've mentioned, against Fremantle, in the middle of those 3 games, gather round at Adelaide Oval. And spare a thought for Paddy Cripps, the captain of the Blues. His partner expected to give birth to their first child next weekend. He's going to take a later flight, hoping to play on Saturday, but obviously the priority is to be there for his partner and as their young family begins, awaiting the arrival of their first child as Power kicks it straight down the pipe and turns it over. Williams with the intercept mark, centre half back for Carlton.
So they got Fremantle at Adelaide Oval, the Blues.
Good form, Fremantle too. It'll be interesting game.
Still to come tonight, and we'll check in with the Dockers next. If you're about to leave us for some of that build-up, Justin Longmuir is going to join us as part of the pre-game to coach of the Dockers. So flared wide to Wiedering. They're happy to have him back, the Blues. On the precipice of a 3-0 start, a 57-point lead late in the piece.
Mackay couldn't take the mark on the wing. De Koning's got it, gives it off. Hewitt. Now Fantasia. Steadies. Had a real good look at it. Owies keeps it low, shanks that kick. It was a disappointing result because Cripps was down there resting and he was looking for a goal. Instead, the Roos can go. And the switch is wide. And Stevenson can run. He's got an absolute paddock on the city wing. He has one bounce. He draws the defender and he kicks over the top, wedging the kick. Backing back bravely was Zerha. There was no one coming for him. And he's taken a mark. He kicked the first of this game. And he might kick the last. He's within range. It's just a question of the final margin. But for Michael Voss, he turns to his superstar on the bench, Charlie Curnow. High fives all round. He's shaking hands with everyone on the Blues bench. Margin is 57 as Zerha gives it a real ride and it's going to be touched. It'll be 1 point. So the final margin, it is Carlton by 56 points, 21-11, 137. North Melbourne, 12-9-81 in front of 47,565.
We are the Navy Blues. We are the old dark Navy Blues. We're the team that never lets you down. We're the only team old Carlton knows. With all the champions they like to send up, we'll keep our end up, and they will know that they've been playing against the famous old dark Blues.
They won every quarter in the end, Carlton. 16 points up at quarter time, 29 at the half, 35 at three-quarter time and 56 in the finish. 9 between Mackay and Curnow. Harry with 5, Curnow with 4. Injury concerns for Marchbank concussion. Meanwhile, Coleman Jones, a suspected Achilles injury, and Wardlaw played on despite an ankle concern. It is the first leg of a doubleheader. For those in South Australia and WA, you are off to Perth Stadium for the extended build-up between Fremantle and Adelaide. And for everybody else, soak it in, Blue Baggers, a 56-point win over North.
The Navy Blues, we are the old dark Navy Blues. We're the team that never lets you down. We're the only team old Carlton knows. With all the champions they like to send up, we'll keep our end up, and they will know that they've been playing against the famous old dark Blues.
It's another good start for Michael Voss's team. So in 2022, they were 3-0 to start the season. Last year, they began with a draw and then had 3 consecutive wins, so didn't taste defeat until round 5. And now they're 3-0 on the young season, Carlton. While for North Melbourne, they're 0-3. They fielded their least experienced team in 14 years last week and were unchanged, North Melbourne coming in. So at completely different stages of their development. One team in premiership contention, the other seriously in development mode. 3 early lead changes. North led by 11 points early doors before Carlton took over and ended up winning every quarter en route to a 56-point victory. If you are listening and you're thinking, gee, I want the Fremantle-Adelaide game, never fear, you will be there for the first bounce, so we'll take you there in about 20 minutes from now. So Fremantle and Adelaide on the way for everybody across the network. Good Friday footy here on ABC Sport. The analysis from Cameron Ling and Mick Moldhouse in just a moment, but the full list of goal kickers: Mackay with 5, Curnow with 4, 3 for Matt Owies, 2 for Corey Durden, and then singles for Adam Chera, Patrick Cripps, Blake Akers, Orazio Fantasia, Jack Carroll, George Hewitt, and Elijah Hollins. I think we can call him New Hollins. He's the new Hollins brother that's made his way to Carlton, joining Ollie Hollins. He was able to knock through a goal on club debut. Meanwhile, for North Melbourne, 3 for Larkey, 3 for Curtis, and then 2 for Eddie Ford. Singles for Wardlaw, Powell, Lazaro, and Zerha. The thoughts of Mick Moldhouse and Cameron Ling on ABC Sport.
Did what they had to do, didn't they, Mick? Carlton? They
over 5 goals a quarter.
Yeah.
Well, 5 goals and a 6, so very even performance right across the board.
And they out-tackled.
Yeah.
North Melbourne plus 12. Contested possessions plus 16. They got the ball inside 50, 62 times, so they didn't fluff around with it too much. They were pretty direct. North Melbourne, to their credit, kept fighting, kept competing, but were just horribly outgunned and 1 or 2 down as well. Obviously, with Coleman Jones going off with that what looked like a really nasty Achilles injury. So, professional quality performance by the Blues. They score 137 points. But again, and I know North Melbourne fans are probably sick of hearing this, signs are there from North Melbourne. They just simply can't go for 4 quarters with the very best teams in the competition.
No, spot on. 11 goal kickers, Lingy, to 7. Not discounting the fact that they still got the 2 big champions playing for. Well, when Mackay kicked 5 and then Curnow's kicked 4. 11 goal kickers. They're the bonuses, I see it, because they're going to come across against a side that's going to be able to handle them, handle the big boys. Who then kicks the goals? Can they kick enough goals? Early indicators are, and I think you mentioned before, good sides that have won premierships recently have been 10 plus over 100 points in a season. there's been a shuffle. I've just noticed a shuffle in the bigger players are kicking a lot more of the goals. It just seems to be more open. There seems to be a drop-off in the really heavy tags. I know the 666 has been in for a little while. I've never been in favour of it. I think it takes the game out of the hands of the coaches to be able to defend if you need to defend, or attack if you have to attack. But the rules in. But right now, if you look through the clubs, they've all got forwards that can kick goals. All big forwards kick goals. Carlton got 2. Larky's been one out for a number of years. He got frustrated today, but I thought he did pretty well. Kicked 3 goals against a pretty good defence. But you're right. I think we can put in the book to say that North Melbourne are on the up. But I think from Carlton's point of view, they're not on an old side. You look at the young ruckman. You look at the young forwards, young mids. The players they've brought into the club have been really first class. They've fitted in very, very well. They're as good as anyone going around at the moment.
If you are listening on the radio, walking from the ground, just a public service announcement. Due to an incident at Southern Cross platforms, 11, 12, 13 and 14. So Southern Cross platforms 11, 12, 13 and 14. They are closed. So please catch the trains from Flinders Street or North Melbourne Station. So incident at Southern Cross platforms 11, 12, 13 and 14 are all shut. You can catch a train from Flinders Street Station or North Melbourne Station if you are listening walking from the ground.
So North Melbourne on Good Friday, they came in this afternoon. Their record was 1 win and 5 losses. And the average losing margin was 56 points. They lost by 56 points today. And they go now 1 and 6 losses. 1 win, 6 losses from their 7 games. But a crowd of 47,565. You have to say it was a great success. The Blues, undefeated. This time last year they were undefeated after 4 games because they had that draw at the start with Richmond. And back in 2022 they were 3 and 0. So basically for Carlton, the last 3 years they haven't lost a game in the first 3 rounds.
They look a different side, Kel. They look a far more mature side, albeit the fact that we've said they haven't got a lot of old players. They've got mature players. They just look to me, very, very well balanced.
They've got players shifting into their prime, haven't they? They've 100-plus games.
And they'll get 18 back pretty soon as well. Sam Walsh, next 3 weeks, he's expected to return, coming back from that back complaint. So what a superstar he is. The Blues 3 and 0. With Fremantle next, they win the Good Friday Super Clash by 56 points in front of 47,565. Let's celebrate with the winners. They're on their way. Tim Hodges is in the rooms. Hodgie.
Patrick Cripps leads the Blues in. A couple of Royal Children's Hospital patients are going to join the Blues in this song. Patrick Cripps has run straight for the rooms. I think he needs to go to the little boys' room before the song, so I'm not sure whether they'll wait for him. Caleb Marchbank is just actually beside me. He's fully showered. He's got the polo shirt and shorts on. With a concussion, he's probably going to miss, or he'll definitely miss next week's game against Fremantle. Now it's just a wonder. And here Patrick Cripps comes now, so he'll be last in, and the Blues will sing the song for a 3rd time this season.
With all the champions, like to send us, keep our hands up, and you know that they've been playing against the famous Old Dark Blues.
Well, there were so many kids in that song. That was a very subdued singing of the Navy Blue song. I'll join you with Adam Chera very shortly, guys.
Thanks, Hodgie.
Lots of toddlers in that song. On the shoulders of players, or they were nursing them on their hips, and so I think that's why it was tempered a little bit. They didn't want to scare the kids.
Big win for the Blues, 56 points at full time. Fremantle versus Adelaide coming up. Their previous 6 wins, Carlton, were by a collective margin of 22 points. They went 4 points, 4 points, 6 points, 2, 1 and 5 in their last 6 games. So they've become the master of the close finish, and yet they won by 56 points here today. So they did it with ease to start 3 and 0. And for North Melbourne, with all their inexperience, they are 0 and 3. They had an average games experience last week of 63. Now, they played the same team, so you make that 64 as everyone goes up one. But that team last week was the least experienced North Melbourne team in 14 years. So they don't have a lot of experience.
And it showed up.
Yeah, it did.
It showed up. The only thing I would say today, I just felt as the longer the game went, the more their midfield, I'm talking about North Melbourne here, didn't transition anywhere near hard enough or quick enough.
Yep.
Just took the lazy way out. And so I get worried about that from a bottom side who has some really good players, and you know they're never going to get dropped because we have enough good players, we keep playing them. Good sides are able to go, no, you're not playing this next week because you need to work on your transition. You have a couple of weeks out. So I'm just looking at a couple of players in there that got really lazy as the game went on.
We'll come back to that. Adam Chera is ready for us. Tim Hodges in the winners' rooms.
Corbin, Adam has been good enough to come over and join us. Adam, just tell us about Ollie. You just signed his footy. You held him during the song. A young fella who's been through a bit and is, typifies the importance of and significance of this day.
Yeah, Ollie's a ripper kid. Obviously, he's grown up in and out of Royal Children's Hospital, and it just shows the importance of this game, putting smiles on the faces of young kids, especially those who have done it hard. So, it's been awesome to bring him on this journey this week with us, and it's a good reminder and a gratitude piece for just how good we have it and how special this game is to put smiles on faces.
And you're a bit of a favourite of his?
Yeah, we've grown fond of each other over the last couple of years. We've done I've been with him both times we've played in this Good Friday match, and just getting to know him and how happy he is with the footy in his hand. It's a real reminder of how special it is what we're doing.
Awesome, mate. Well done. The win, terrific, powerful performance. You must be really stoked.
Yeah, we're really happy. We want to be known for a consistent home and away team, no matter who we're playing. So for us, it's the ability to play our system for 4 quarters and play to our values and try and be a great teammate. So tonight's a stepping stone. The more games we play, the stronger it's going to get. So I was really pleased with the boys tonight.
I know Cripper's about to have a young one. There are so many kids in this room, the rooms right now. Everyone's got kids. It seems like the list is really growing.
Yeah, I think this list was called a young list for many years, but I think everyone's getting to that age where, they're growing families, and Cripper's just around the corner. So it's an exciting time and brings a lot of joy to the change rooms.
The joint is full. Adam, I'll send you upstairs. Cameron Ling and Mick Malthouse.
Adam, congratulations on the win. As Hodgie just said, a really quality professional win. Can you take us into the mindset of, as the game's progressed, whether it's half-time or halfway through the third quarter, you probably deep down know you've got the game won. You're a better team than them. You're different places in their development. What are you concentrating on then? What are you trying to lock in on?
It's the same process for us. We try not get tied up too much with the win or loss. We won this game last year and walked away pretty flat with how we finished the game. So for us, it's just resetting each quarter. Focus on what we value, and that's ultimately what we mark ourselves on. So I was really pleased with today being able to do that.
You kicked the big score, 137 points, which is a fantastic return. Is there a real endeavour, and it feels like across the competition a bit this is happening, to attack more, score more, kick that over 100 points, or was that simply the way the game panned out today?
No, I think the game's growing into the more high-scoring sort of footy, which is great. It's good to watch. So, for us, we want to be damaging with the ball in hand, and we've got such quality up forward. We want to be able to give them good looks and really use that to our advantage. So, I really thought we got going a bit more tonight with our ball movement, and it's only going to grow from here.
Adam, congratulations. Just the side from last year compared to this year. Now we've only gone 3 games, so I realise that it's some time to go. But your team to me just looks a lot more mature, and you're trying to establish the way you want to play finals. And don't get me wrong, I know you played pretty well last year, and I'm talking you and also your team. But is there a distinctive difference this year? What was the biggest focus over Christmas, over the pre-season?
I think this is our 3rd year under Vossi, under the game plan of everyone trying to develop their roles, and each year we're trying to add layers. And I reckon this pre-season we really went to work on the little things. Obviously we got to the prelim last year and fell short. We just wanted to improve no matter where that was. So for us, I reckon we have our foundations of our contest and pressure to our game, and then it's just about adding the little things, the 450 entries, bring the ball back inside, just all the little things that can make us stronger come finals time.
Do you think the finals has given you that confidence to go the next step? You realise you played some big games in the finals, and as you say, you only come up just short, so it wasn't as if it was you're monstered. But has it given you the confidence to know? Do you realise that you're one of the best sides? Are you walking around and thinking, you know what, we've got a chance this year?
We have confidence within our group, but it's really important for us to stay humble, have that humility piece, and continue to try and get better every day. We know our best footy stacks up with anyone, but we've got to get to work and bring that each day. I guess we're just going to take it week by week. I know how cliche that sounds, but it's a long season. That's honestly just what you have to do.
Yep. Adam Cerra with us. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. A 56-point win for the Blues. Adam, it's Corbin Middlemass here. An unusual start to the season. So you play in opening round away. You come back, play the Thursday night game, and then you don't play again until today, having had the bye in what was week 3 of the season. How did you spend it? What did you do with that week off?
It was a bit of a funny way to start. I got a bit sick of watching footy the last couple of weeks, to be honest. We got a few days off after our last game, and I think a lot of boys just spent that extra week just recovering, without having an oppo in mind, just being able to get away from footy, get the body right, get the mind right, to really attack this next block before our next bye. So, that's pretty much it. Doesn't get too excited on the buys.
I saw local footy week this week, so a lot of the AFL clubs, the players were wearing their junior club jumper. You want to give your junior club a shout out? Which jumper did you have on at training during the week?
I was repping the Norwood Junior Football Club out in North Ringwood, but my school footy coach was flat. I didn't wear a Wesley College jumper, so I'll give them a plug as well.
You might have to work on that for next year. Maybe get some stitching going. Adam, you might be able to merge the two jumpers. That could be something for the future. Adam, appreciate your time. Congratulations on the 3-0 start, and we'll see you in Adelaide next week.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Adam Cerra in a very, very happy, noisy Carlton rooms after a 56-point win. They won every quarter to down North Melbourne by 56 points. First leg of a double header. We're off to Perth shortly for that. 3 things out of today. First time this season that we've had a team kick 20 goals. So in the young season, Carlton banged through 21 today. It's Carlton's highest score against North Melbourne since 1988.
Wow.
They kicked 137 points. It's a long time, isn't it?
It certainly is.
35 plus years. And then 3-0 under Michael Voss. So it's the 3rd straight year that they go undefeated through the first 3 weeks since Michael Voss has taken over. There was a draw there last year to open the season. They didn't taste defeat until round 5. They're 3-0 with a date with the Dockers next Saturday in the twilight. The votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year. I think we're fast getting out of here with Fremantle and Adelaide on the way. Which way are you looking, Cameron Ling and the ABC Footballer of the Year?
I'm going to look in right in the engine room for the first couple, Corbs. In the middle, Paddy Cripps I thought was just superb. 29 touches, had 9 clearances, kicked a goal, 9 score involvements. So again, just led the way with how they needed to approach this game. Hard, tough, professional in the middle of the ground. He was supported and only just battered by George Hewitt, who got the 2 votes. He had 26 touches. He kicked a goal as well. 12 score involvements for him. So between Hewitt and Cripps, they had 21 score involvements.
Cool.
And between them, they had 18 clearances, 9 each. Yep. So just your 2 hard, tough inside midfielders said this is the way that this game is going to play out, and it worked perfectly for their team. And that leaves the man who kicked 5 goals with the 3 votes, Harry Mackay. Yes, he did take advantage of the fact that North Melbourne were well and truly undermanned, so it's not his finest display ever, but he kicked 5 goals, took 10 marks, had 20 disposals, and was just commanding in the air when the game was still sort of there to be won. It was never really in doubt, but he just set an example up forward and snagged the 5, so he gets the 3 votes.
We're going to be on baby watch this week then for Paddy Cripps and whether he makes it to Adelaide.
Yes.
That'll be the Blues story for the week.
So the team's going to travel. He's already said, look, I'm not flying with the team. So he's going to wait as late as possible, maybe even fly in morning of the game, play, and then try and get out of there as quick as he can. I think the team flight is home Saturday night. So either way, he'll be back in Melbourne Saturday night. But all the best to the Cripps family this week on that front. 3 for Mackay, 2 for Hewitt, 1 for Cripps in the ABC Footballer of the Year. Just a few of the injuries out of today. Callum Coleman-Jones suspected Achilles tear. It was a awful moment to see him stretch it off with the green whistle in the second quarter. An ankle complaint for George Wardlaw, also copped a corky but was able to fight through it and play on. And on the Carlton side of things, Curnow rolled his ankle late, but was strapped up and prepared to go back out there if required. He wasn't. Finished the game on the bench. Caleb Marchbank was concussed. Friendly fire. Jordan Boyd crashed into him, so that ended his day prematurely, all in the final quarter. But that's it. So 56 points, Carlton's victory over North Melbourne.
I forgot to give the extra 3 votes to you, Corbs.
Thank you.
For finally remembering to bring chocolate along for the Good Friday Clash. Well done.
I know.
Well
How
done.
many years in? Did I say 3 years we've been doing this?
Yep.
This is my first time I've delivered on the Easter eggs.
You copped a lot of feedback last year for not delivering.
I did.
You listened, you learnt, and you produced. Well
And
done.
Mick, you can finally unwrap that one egg that you've been keeping for 4 hours. I've been eyeing it off. All the bags are empty up in the back. Stu, who's pressing all the buttons, I think he's knocked them all off. So there's one egg left in the commentary box, and it's the one Mick's been sitting on for 4 hours.
Trying to hatch a little chick out
Quickly, hurry up and eat it, otherwise I'm going to steal it off you.
Come on, Kill. You're better than that.
If you are listening on your local digital radio and you want to keep listening to the AFL, make sure you switch to ABC Sport Digital, where we're off to Perth Stadium for Fremantle and Adelaide. So there's that. Larkey is possibly in trouble too for slinging McGovern to the ground on his head. It was a very unusual incident. He was lying on his back and ripped his jumper down, and McGovern's head hit the ground first. So there's your little MRO postscript to follow. Scotty Pendlebury was cleared, so he got a fine, so he's cleared to play at least. He wasn't suspended after his punch or slap to the midriff last night to Lachie Neale. 56 points, Carlton winners over North Melbourne. We're off to Perth. Fremantle and Adelaide coming up. Nick, I will see you tomorrow for AFL Saturday in studio.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
12 noon.
Yep.
Thanks, Cal. See you next time.
Thanks, Corby.
And thanks to Cameron Ling. You're on Sunday.
Yes, me and Clenchy and Jack Nile will be talking everything from the weekend on Sunday at 12 o'clock.
Thanks to Tim Hodges downstairs. Thanks to Ben Cameron, Stu Baker and Andrea Williamson. That's us done. First leg of the Good Friday doubleheader. Carlton by 56. Let's head...